Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, April 3rd, 2026. We are going to get started. We're going to be starting our day today with personals and one cards. And once we have time permitting, if we've got time at the end of that, we'll be moving into the daily collective. But if you want to get on the list right now, the list is open. It's a great time to get on the list. You will be the third person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing a giveaway today. When we get to 50K likes, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. Prior to beginning today's daily collective read, I will be doing a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. If you'd like to find those full readings, you can find them over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find them over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find them as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Stack. But before we begin today, first and foremost, most important question: how are we doing today? Scale of 1 to 10. We're coming out. We're coming out. You know what? Here's the thing about it. Everything's wrong. Hold on a minute. Okay, we're coming out of a full moon. It's a weird full moon cycle. We're gonna talk a little bit about it because and I need to stress that, like, there's something very interesting that we notate, particularly when we're going through Aries. We're going through a lot of planets in Aries when we're going through a Libra full moon, right? We have to talk about the strange juxtaposition of navigating all the Aries energy with the Libra full moon. And the reason I'm saying all of the Aries energy is because, and this is why I mean the energy right now is a little odd, okay? And I'm going to explain to you why it's odd, because it might feel a little incongruous. Because here we go. We got a bunch of important planets that have been in Aries, okay? We've got Venus that's moved into Taurus, okay? Which could be but actually a good thing, because it could help us feel a little bit more comfortable in relationality to navigating change. But the thing you have to recognize with the full moon that we've kind of gone through is there are different ways of being able to recognize how one effectively grows. And the thing about it is Aries energy is burst energy. It can often be those spaces or places by which we feel a lot of those annoyances or a lot of those irritations, the things that effectively get under our skin, right? There's a quality that we sometimes experience when we have a lot of planets in Aries that can feel like it's that pugnaciousness, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's a little bit pugnacious, but you have to understand that's because Aries energetically is that ignition energy. Now, the thing about it, and we have to understand this, the ability to be reactive is not something that we should remove from ourselves. Like, the reactivity within us is there for a reason. Everything is a gift, right? So much as long as one understands the application upon what you effectively expend that on. And so, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you've been feeling like the last couple of weeks, there may have been a lot of things that may have felt like they were really kind of pounding away in terms of the things that often irritate you. And that was potentially even harder right now, given the fact that we see that Jupiter is in Cancer. And I'm going to keep on talking about this because the thing about it, and let this just be, right? Let this just be a reminder that just because a planet is in retrograde, it doesn't necessarily mean that the retrograde is detrimental, because some planets in some houses, when they are in retrograde, are actually easier to navigate than when they've stationed direct. And I feel like we're getting a perfect example of that right now with Jupiter moving through Cancer, because you have to understand that that's some heavy stuff, right? It's the understanding and the recognition of the perception of the self, right? And that's hard work. And I wouldn't be surprised right now, because every time I read into Jupiter in Cancer, what we're basically seeing is it's the difference between how others perceive the self versus how it feels to be the self, right? The incongruity that we often experience in terms of the way that we feel we do things versus how others feel that they're done, right? And here's the thing about it, that feeling never goes away, right? Like we often see this when we're working in alignment, right? Like the understanding that when you're being brave, it typically doesn't feel like you're being brave, right? Being brave doesn't feel like being brave doesn't feel like it looks like, you know what I mean? Like, right? Because it feels like you're overcoming your fear, right? Feels like you're moving into the heart of vulnerability as you're being brave. And it's the same way with a lot of other feelings, right? When we're passionate about things, right? Sometimes when we're passionate, there's a lot of compassion there, right? Often, and the thing about it is our ability to, and we often work upon this, the ability to effectively carry those feelings through, right? To allow that expression of self to ring true, right? That's kind of like what we see with the energy that we're experiencing. But it's not easy, because, and I'll tell you right now, like because, and I'll tell you, with Jupiter in Cancer and then all those planets in Aries, like sometimes it feels like you're like scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit, right? It's like sometimes it feels like you're just like you're kind of working through something in a way that you're just like, oh my, like you just feel very exhausted. And I want to describe this a little bit, because there's a lot of catharsis that's coming through after this full moon. It's not atypical to have a little bit of that like full moon. I like to describe it as like the full moon come down, right? But what we effectively understand upon that is, and I think that in a way, I actually feel like one of the things that might be helping with this right now is the fact that Venus has moved into Taurus, because Venus, like Venus is beautified in Taurus. Okay, it's like Venus wants to be in Taurus. It's comfortable there, right? And it's a continuation. And I want to point out, I think that there's something very beautiful and harmonic about the fact that we've got Venus that's moving into Taurus right as Uranus is about to move into Gemini. It's completing its transfer into Gemini, because the thing that we identify, particularly with the Uranus and Taurus cycles, is that the only way to find a deeper comfort zone is by being uncomfortable, right? It's like you have to navigate that uncomfortability, because the uncomfortability allows something to effectively deepen, or to something to move, like something to move effectively in the direction of one's energetic intention. So I wouldn't be surprised right now if you're feeling a lot of that, or you're feeling energetically frustrated, or you're working through some modality of like either I don't want to describe, the word isn't exhaustion that I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for is, it's interesting, because like the word I want to say isn't actually a word, but it's like pre-exhaustion, which I know sounds a little bit odd, but it's the identification right? I want to describe this because this is exactly the type of energy that we see, like the understanding and the ability to see, like to see what one has before the self, and to kind of and it's like the space by which you're like, okay, this is what I have to do. All right, okay, I'm gonna sit down. It's like, it's a little bit of that, if that makes sense. I got to figure out that. I don't know if I just made a word, but like that's what it feels like, right? It's pre-exhaustion. It's like the space by which you effectively work through something. You're like, okay, no, it's all there. It is. Yep, that's the plan. Okay, I'm gonna go take a nap. Now, one of the other things we're seeing right now, and I just want to stress this too, is it is having a very different impact, depending on where you are on the relationship cycles. And what's interesting about it, and I'm just going to tell you, so when I read for the relationship cycles, sometimes they're all going through the same thing. Not right now. It's incongruous energy. And the reason it's incongruous is because I'm going to say we've got a lot of planets in Mars, in Aries, but where do you find Mercury right now? Where do you find Mercury? You find Mercury over in Pisces, right? Which is, and I want to point out, I actually think that that's beautiful because it creates, right? It creates the observation of working through the clarity in terms of how we identify or articulate or what it is that we effectively work upon. So for a lot of the energy effectively doing that work, that observation or that considerable effort in relationality to being able to articulate upon things, we keep on seeing that for the energy that is in solitude, this could be a very strange time, because I see for a lot of that energy, we have both the observation of potentially moving away from traumatizing experiences as it relates to past relationship, and literally seeing and feeling the sentiment, right? The sentiment effectively coming towards those experiences. And it's the observation of that sentiment that is effectively helping the energy move forward in healthy direction. And even in the space by which they're moving forward in healthy direction, they're potentially talking to one another about the complication of the mind's tendency to build sentiment on experiences that previously traumatized or caused harm, right? But what's beautiful about that is they're not holding that. They're not holding that rigidly, right? They're holding it observationally. Like they're not judging themselves for it, because they're recognizing that that is a natural tendency of a mind that's trying to protect itself. Now, at the same time, we see that there's potentially a lot of work that's happening there in being able to disambiguate between, what we were talking about was the lacquer sentiment versus the knacker sentiment, right? The nascent sentiment, or the sentiment that pervades. So the experience by which we feel sentiment that was existing in the time that we first experienced something, versus the lacquered sentiment, which is the mind's tendency to try to wrap trauma in sentiment in order to protect the mind from something that is hard to carry. So the ability to be able to disambiguate between those two modalities, right? The ability to be able to see, right, the true sentiment that was there all along, versus the lacquered sentiment, which is the space by which the mind tries to wrap something unpleasant so that it's easier to house or to store. We see that for a lot of the energy, it feels affirming, right? But it also feels, right, it may feel very surreal. And there may be something about explaining that surreality to some of the new energetic relationships that they're making. And this brings us to the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now. Now, for the relationships that are in solitude, these were effectively the relationships that were coming together between the time of the present state up until the time that we had that new moon in Capricorn energy, which I believe was around January 18th of last year. I'm not last year, this year. But I was getting to the moon relationships, and these were the ones that were coming together between January 18th to September 6th of last year. These relationships are going through the opposite experience, because we see that for a lot of the energy that's in solitude, potentially exploring the past in a way that they never have before, right? The ability to observe the past and see the formation of sentiment that's allowing them to effectively move forward more contemplatively. We also see that for a lot of those relationships that are moving deeper into divine union, the observation of being able to be in a relationship that effectively has the ability to hold all of the facets of energetic counterpart, right? The modality by which they themselves are able to finally be in a relationship by which they feel they can be in the full expression of the self. We just keep seeing that for a lot of those relationships and a lot of those situations, there may be a lot of work that's potentially happening there, specifically as it relates to being able to perceive what was missing in past partnership, specifically because for a lot of those relationships, I have to point out, and it was hard for me to read for those moon partnerships when they were coming together, because they were very, like, even as I was reading for them, there was like this tendency, this like pulling away from relationship that wasn't based on a lack or a desire to be in one, but holding some kind of trauma about past relationship. The observation of basically finally being in a relationship where they feel the ability, right, of being with counterpart that effectively they can be their authentic self with, it feels expansive, right? And even in that expansion point, there may be a lot of those experiences by which they themselves are seeing the past in ways that they never had before, but they're not harboring anything. It's like the arrival into the understanding of what was missing that's immediately, right, immediately healed. And why do we see that it's immediately healed? Because the energy basically is able to identify and recognize what was energetically missing that was causing them to feel so out of place in those relationships in the first place. Now, this brings us to the energy that is deep within divine union. And for the energy deep within divine union right now, what we effectively see, these are the partnerships that were coming together between the time of September 6th, which was the time that Uranus first went retrograde, up until the solstice period that we had this past summer. I want to describe, I feel like the relationships right now, deep within divine union, there's a lot happening there, but it might not feel like a lot happening because there's something really important that's happening in those relationships as it relates to consistency and stability. And the thing about it is the consistency and the stability that we effectively identify. And I want to describe this, right? And this is a continuation of what we recognize occurs specifically towards like this is a continuation of what we often get with Jupiter and Cancer, which is understanding and identifying what it means to be able to effectively, like, consistency plus stability equals integrity, right? Like that's basically, and I'm not surprised to see that the work of the energy deep within divine union is working through that, because the integrity that we find for ourselves is not something like, and I want to point this out, when you energetically scrutinize, like, and I want to point this through is like, and it's interesting too, because you see, I was like, as soon as I started reading for this energy, like I immediately felt like blocked to a certain extent, because stability, integrity is like an energetic gift, and we work to effectively identify it within ourselves. And what's wild about integrity is that, you know, integrity isn't something that you do for others, right? It's the gift that you give yourself. And so for a lot of the energy kind of working through that, I feel like time like this can sometimes feel like it wears away at the self, because um, you have to be patient when you're integrating, is the best way I can describe it. And what do I mean about patient integration? It's the modality by which you don't, like, one doesn't rush processes, right? It's just allowing things to kind of move in like the natural flow of things. And that does, and I need to point this out. It doesn't, and this is, I'm not surprised to see this right now with all this Libra energy. That doesn't mean that you don't, like, that doesn't mean that you don't rush through things, but it's being able, like, often the space by which we navigate things with a sense of proportionality, right? The step-by-step approach that we take to things, sometimes, right? Sometimes that's honoring stuff, right? Because, and I want to describe this, like, when we honor things, we recognize and we understand the energetic speed by which we apply towards them, right? And even in the space by which we do so, it creates the understanding or the recognition of taking, right, step-by-step approaches to things. And when we take step-by-step approaches to things, we energetically honor them, specifically and particularly because we're trying to work upon things in the best way that we're energetically able. So I feel like I see a lot of that energy there working through things. And that's what I meant. And it's interesting too, because when I mentioned that, remember when I mentioned that word pre-exhaustion, where we're like pre-exhaustion, I feel like that's where we're seeing most of that energy right now, which is like, I feel like I see energy that may be working slowly and others getting frustrated, but it's working deliberately, right? And the deliberate, like when we work slowly, deliberately, then we're trying to do something, right? The service that it needs to be done in. So I feel like there's something really important about that, because I feel like the energy deep within Divine Union is honoring themselves in ways that they never have before, because they're allowing themselves to move deliberately, right? And that can sometimes, and I want to describe that, like the space by which one does so allows the context of being able to, I keep on getting fully formed thoughts, or potentially articulate upon something or expand upon something more. That is where we find all the energy prior to getting today's readings. But if you'd like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find them on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find them on you can also find them as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Stack. I would also encourage you to head over to my Stack to learn more about our next tarot class. I will point out there has been a date change on that class. It will now be held on Friday. It will be held on Friday, April 17th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on we're going to be focusing on the court cards in the wand suit. If you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you an update on everything we've studied prior to beginning that next class, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also receive access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class program, as well as the opportunity of receiving a complimentary one-on-one mentorship with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule, as well as my mystic meditation articles. I just wrote one recently on navigating this full moon energy we currently find ourselves in. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I am very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey, as well as dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase a series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. But let me know in the comments how this energy is impacting you personally, because it is going to hit everybody a little bit differently. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. I do need to, if you want to get on the list for today, the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 20. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more. My subscribers, being semi-lio, please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. I do need to pause the live for 1 moment though, friends, so please be patient with me, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay. Thank you for that, friends. I appreciate your patience. And where were we? Excellent. Good to see you today. How are you doing? Welcome, Jonathan. How are you as well? Laurel, so good to see you, dear. How are you doing today? Grand Rising Minnie, good to see you too. Sunny, I think you said the same exact thing last time you were here. Are you a bot? The only reason is when someone repeats the same non sequitur 2 times in a row when they first arrive, it leads me to the conclusion that you might be a bot. So are you a bot? If please let me know. Hi, how are you doing today, Per? Good to see you. And Brandy, welcome. Exactly. Welcome, Poker. Good to see you. Thank you for the follow, dear. Excellent. I know. Right. It's coming out of this full moon energy, Lisa. Yeah, I know you feel tired, Grandpa. And the Matthias, good to see you as well. I don't drink anymore. Totally with today. The list is open, Lisa. If you'd like to get on it right now, you'll be the 4th person read for. I think you just got on it though, didn't you? Yep, absolutely. Oh, I love that. Grand existence. Ooh, that's got some majesty on it. I like that. I like that number. Good to see you today, dear. Hope you're well. Grand existence. I love it. Absolutely. Oh, they love. I'm getting a little bit of rest there, leaving my trauma environment on Monday. Oh, sending you support, Laurel. Absolutely. Please do. Yep. I like to hear you saying that you're in a temperance relationship with yourself. I'm very happy to hear that. Continue to honor yourself. Consistently showing up. It is absolutely, dear. And thank you, Mia, for also being here and receiving these messages. Absolutely. Grand Rising Cat, good to see you. How are you doing today? I got you. Glam. Make sure to don't put the full name of the app next time, okay? You know these apps. They're very jealous. They're very, very jealous. And the same thing, Angeli. I got you on the list too. Just put the initial next time, okay? Okay, perfect. And thank you for sharing the live, Bridget. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. For reminders, those who are joining us across the other apps as well, you can also get on our list today via my tree that has links in it in my bio. We do hear highest priority messages from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide readings, pet readings, akashic, mind, body, spirit, and love, as well as aura. If you have information that you feel is necessary for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber only. You can also post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channels. Also, just a reminder, for those who are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, your paid membership there qualifies you for the same rate that I've articulated for those who are subscribers. So, and you are also entitled to a free 1-card reading each day as well. Now, for those who are joining us on the place where we keep the videos, I would like to be able to offer that membership there too. I need your help for that. So if you guys take a moment while you're here today and head over to the place where we keep the photos and make sure to give me a follow there and comment followed, I will also be thanking you by giving you an affirmation from the guidebook for the advanced soul. And if you're already following me there and would like to also have an affirmation, all you need to do, if you'd like that as well, is just go ahead and give me share this live with three other individuals, and I'll be happy to do so as well. I'm happy to read the list, Stella. Just bear with me one moment and I'll do so. The list we have at the moment is per Angelique, Stella, and Elisa. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the 5th person read for. Also, if you are on the hold list and would like to be added back to the list, all I need you to do is go ahead and let me know the date that you are added to the hold list, and I'll be happy to add you back as well. And thank you so much, Tapestry, for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. So we are going to get started today. We are going to be doing personals and 1-cards first. If we have time permitting, we will be moving into a daily collective. That said, the first person on the list for today is going to be Per. Per, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And as I mentioned, friends, we are currently, we've got 4 people on the list. It's a lovely time to get on the list. If you would like to sign up for a reading, and if you are on the hold list, please let me know the date that you are added. Before we get started on Per's reading, though, we are going to warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the hind. Thank you guys for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. And I'm going to be pinning up Per here. Guys, make sure to give Per some love. We're going to be doing a dream interpretation. I was having some wild, absolutely wild dreams last night. Oh, you see that? You should have gone with that first instinct. Before we continue, though, you know what we're going to do. Whenever we have a dream, we're going to pull out the dream coconut. Excellent. Ready? Ooh, I like that one. Excellent. This is Outside Tea. And just a reminder, if you have a dream that you would like interpreted, all I need you to do is put it in the notes when you send the donation or post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channels. Okay. Dream. Outside tea. I had a bunch of dreams last night, and at some point in between those, I suddenly found myself in my own bedroom. I saw a light gray dream journal on my nightstand with the letters A and O on them. This sight was as if I was standing near the bed. I didn't really question it and just accepted it as real. I only thought, oh nice, my dream journal is here. I just need to remember to write everything down later. It wasn't until after my first cup of coffee that it hit me that I don't actually have a dream journal next to my bed. I see anything in my own house or bedroom is pretty significant. I've already done a bit of research myself into what the letters could possibly mean. A, first letter of my name. A meaning alpha and omega, first and last letter of the alphabet, or action and observation. The different combinations are endless, so I really don't know. I'll give you a short summary of the dreams I had the same night, just in case I need more context. Thank you. 1, visiting a train station with a U shape. 2, waking up in bed in a moving train, and next to me lay an older woman on her side. I only saw her back. I don't know who she is, and my cat is there too. My cat steps on the woman to wake her up, and I apologize. We passed the station I had been at earlier, the one with the U shape, and I tell the woman it's a shame it's closed now, since the last time I saw it, the station was accessible. I gave my friend Julia a ride on the back of my bike to her house, where her husband was waiting. At the office, I talked to several colleagues I don't know, and it turns out they're connected to people I know in real life. Acquaintances. Excellent. Can I get 4 cards, please? 4 per. So there's something here I'm seeing that's very important. Specifically in relationality to, and I want to, first of all, I want to take a moment. I'm very upset at you to hear the fact that you don't have a dream journal. Okay. let's get started on that for a second, because with all the dreams that you come to me with, I cannot stress the fact that I feel like the first thing about this, like just the first message, you might be overthinking this dream, right? Like I'm going to kind of articulate that the first thing you need to identify is the fact that that sometimes we try to overthink the dream, but you should keep the dream journal by the bed. Okay, what's the purpose of having a dream journal if you can't return to it, if you can't go to it as soon as you wake up? So I think that that's the first thing about it, because you know, like, and I want to point out, right, and I think that in a way that the A and O might have something to do with that, right? Because there's a difference between writing something down in a liminal state, which is you being in your alpha state when you're writing it, right? Like the modality by which when you first wake, you're writing down your impressions from the alpha state versus the fact that you've got the book all the way over there and you're in your omega at the time that you try to energetically recall it. So it's like, I actually feel like the message in the dream is the guides trying to say to you that there's two different ways that you could be writing your dreams down, which is the modality by which you get yourself into the habit of just waking up and writing them down, which would be you accessing your alpha state, right? While it's fresh, and you get in, you're trying to train yourself to energetically do that versus being in the omega state where you start thinking about things and you start trying to put you're trying to put sense onto them. Because do you see what you're doing here? Right? Do you see your own tendency of doing that, even in the way by which you were trying to say, I've done my own research on it, right? It's like sometimes, right? Sometimes getting it down fresh, you can refine it afterwards. But the fact that you're keeping it, right? If you're keeping it somewhere further, then it's going to make it harder to do so. So that's the first thing I want to articulate, because especially if you're indicating to me that you have one, but it's at a distance, right? They're saying, look at the difference between experiencing something in the moment then versus energetically recalling upon it. So that's the first thing. Also, we need to bring up the fact that seeing a dream journal in the dream state is really wild, right? Because it's the energy, it's your guides telling you that they recognize that you're more alert in the dream space than most people are. Okay? Like that is the guides clocking you, clocking them. Is the guides clocking you. That is the dream. That is the literally the guides going, we see you, we see you, we see you, and we know that you're effectively picking up on what we're energetically telling you, right? Because it articulates upon the fact that they're trying to work more directly with you, right? And what's nice about that is even in the space by which they're articulating the dream journal, right? They're probably telling you, like, take some notes on this. There's a lot of information here, right? And they're recognizing in the space by which the journal's there that it's basically them saying, we understand that we understand that you are getting our messages. Okay. Which I love. I really love your guides. They're very, very clever. It's very clever. Okay. They're like, are you writing this down? Good. Okay, good. So that's the first part. And that's why, and that's what I need to point out, because A and O, and you have to understand, I need you to have to understand something. Sometimes when the guides know that they're working with us, they're trying to put in as much information as possible in the most refined form, right? So the modality by which you even said the fact that you saw the fact that this could mean many different things, right? In the context of me saying like, yes, right? Like that's what's nice. That's what's nice about being able to find a way to effectively articulate upon, like, this is what we see with an energetic symbol, right? It's the ability to convey a lot of information in a very distilled form. So we've got that there. Okay, so that's the first part. The other thing we're potentially seeing right now, and they're basically building all of that there to take into context for anything you see beyond that point. Okay, so we've got all of that in the first part. Now the second part we're effectively identifying has to do with, we're going to move back into the dream that you had that same night. Okay, and you said the first thing you saw was there was a train station with a U shape. Okay, and so that's you, right? It's you. You getting it? The train station. Train station with the U shape, right? So the train station is you. So I can't be more specific. Okay, but this is what I like about your guides, because your guides realize that here's the thing about your guides, because your guides are funny, because your guides know that you have a tendency to overthink, so they're making the stuff even simpler to kind of the station is you, right? They're like, we know that you understand that the station is you. You wake up in a bed in a moving train, and next to you is an older woman on her side, and you only saw her back. Now I want to point out, you said something very revealing to me in the way you described the dream. You said, I don't know who she is, but my cat's there too. Why would your cat be there in some other woman's train car? Why would your cat be in someone else's train car? And then your cat, and I need to point this out, you said, my cat steps on the woman to wake her up, and you apologize. How do you know in the dream space why the cat woke her up? How do you know in the dream space that's not correct? Do you see what's happening there? That's not correct. That's not correct. You shouldn't know. You should not, if it was you who was effectively in the dream, then you wouldn't know, right? You wouldn't know what the cat was thinking in the intention of waking them up. So who apologized? Was it you or was it the cat? Right? So the ability by which you're recognizing that you're embodying the dream space from the perspective of your cat is the modality by which you recognize the space by understanding why the cat was doing something. It wasn't, you're describing the fact that it wasn't random. It was very intentional. Did you see yourself in the dream space? Right? Next, you pass the station where you've been in earlier, the one with the U shape. Okay. The U train, okay? And then you tell the woman, right? You tell the woman it's a shame it's closed now because the last time you saw it, the station was accessible, right? And that is you talking to yourself, right? That is you talking to yourself, because the woman that you're seeing in the dream space is your higher self, older, right? The woman you're seeing in the dream space is yourself, older. And the modality by which you're saying it's a shame it's closed now, since the last time you saw it, the station was accessible, shows you the fact that time has passed, right? And so the modality by which things pass often articulate upon, right, the things that we are energetically available for versus the things that we energetically are not available for, right? And so we see even there that you said, and I think it's interesting because you're seeing basically you're seeing your higher self in the dream space, right? And you're working through, right? You're working through sentiment, right? You're working through the sentimentality that we often create in relationality to things energetically passing or moving beyond, right? But again, and I would also point out that in the space, I would be very curious to identify, and I think that this would be a little bit of homework for you about this dream, how you felt about the woman or how the woman appeared. Because this is you, I keep on getting, and I know this is going to sound a little bit wild, this is you doing an energetic check-in on your higher self, right? This is you doing an energetic check-in on your higher self in the context of this dream space. Now, you said, the next thing you said is that you gave your friend a ride on the back of your bike to their house where their husband was waiting, okay? Now, the modality by which you identified that you gave an individual a ride on the back of your bike to your house to where their husband was waiting is potentially the understanding of an energetic friendship that you feel might be changing in the context of the fact that they're moving towards relationship. Because we often identify this. When we move deeper into energetic partnership, the nature of our relationships often feel like they alter or change. But I want to point this out. The fact that you identify that that individual, you are riding them to their partner or their counterpart, is potentially identifying the stability of a healthy friendship, right? Because it's the modality by which the relationship is still energetically present, right? The modality by which it's still there and it's still stabilized in the face of them coming into partnership. Now, what's interesting about that is, and I think it's very curious that we see, right, that we see a lot of that train energy, right? Because the way I like to define it, the thing about, the thing we often see when like reading into train energy is it's the observation of recognizing or working through the context of life path, right? So the modality by which it's not surprising that you saw a train in your dream and you saw yourself on it because the train was you, right? It's you finding yourself on your own energetic journey. The modality by which we often see bicycles can often indicate friendship. So the modality by which you see your friend on that you're riding them to the house is being able to understand the difference of the nature of relationships based upon healthy orbits, right? It would have been potentially a little bit strange to see your friend on the train because that would often indicate an over-investiture in another person, like in your own energetic experience. So we see that, and that brings us to the office where you said you talk to several colleagues that you don't know, and it turns out they're connected to people that you know in real life or acquaintances. So the understanding that it's interesting because the dream that you basically had that night was working through, right? It's working through the energetic observation of not knowing. And you said you found out they're connected to people that you know in real life, meaning acquaintances. And why do we see that there's something important there about acquaintances? Because energetic acquaintances are often articulated upon the observation or the understanding of being able to energetically identify or articulate upon what is effectively important. So what do we see that is potentially occurring there? We are identifying a circumstance or situation via the space by which you yourself are building into healthy relationship, right? The modality by which you're energetically observing or working through the context of what it is that you yourself are healing within the context of the self, and the observation of being able to identify and articulate upon, right? In a way, I want to point this out, in a way, all of the relationships that we see here, this is you going through the dream space and doing energetic check-ins as it relates to the health of the energetic relationships around the self. And why do we effectively see that? Because we identify, right? We identify that first you see yourself, right? You see yourself on the train. So that's you checking in with yourself. We then see the fact that you move to the friend energy on the bike, which is the observation of, again, feeling the fact that they're in good shape because you are taking them to their energetic counterpart. And then you said that you're at the office and you were speaking to several colleagues that you don't know, and it turns out they're connected to people that you know in real life, right? So this is, again, this is the modality by which you're effectively working through, right? You're observationally working through all of the aspects of the self, and you're checking, right? You're checking the effective, you're assessing and checking the nature of those energetic relationships. And even in the space by which you're checking them, right, you're basically seeing that everything feels like it's rightly placed. Bottom of the deck on this reading, we've got the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles in its upright. So let's talk a little bit about what are we seeing with the Two of Pentacles in its upright. The Two of Pentacles in its upright often identifies or articulates to us. It works us through, right? And I want to describe this. This has a lot to do. I know that we've done a mentorship before, but the modality by which we effectively, I feel like there's something about this dream that is helping you channel into your own gifts, right? Like the attenuation point of being able to effectively feel like go through the process of being able to kind of see all of the relationships in your life. You are doing, right? Clearly you weren't potentially aware of this, but you are doing an energy read in the dream space, right? You are checking the energetic health of all of the energy based upon the way that you are energetically perceiving it. So I think that there's something very important there, which would bring us back to, right? Which would bring us back to the book that you saw when you first started, right? When you first started the dream, which is the understanding of saying, and I want to point out, like remember when I said it's important to have intention upon things, right? Remember when I articulated the fact that intention is everything. So the modality by which, right? That's what we effectively see that's occurring there, specifically with, right? Specifically with a lot of that, the A and the O that you identified, is the ability by which right? It's the A is also means ability, right? Ability, and O, observation. So it's not action and observation, it's ability and observation, right? So the so the dream itself, right? I don't know, I feel like they're effectively like they're showing you in a way. It's like the guides are showing you in the dream space, like the ability to effectively do so. That it potentially comes through in terms of the book that you found there, right? Because it's helping. It's like almost the guides giving you the ability to help identify why they were energetically showing you those things, right? Which is ability, observation, the ability to observe, right? The health of the energetic connection. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. You will be the 5th person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and my Lio. Please keep in mind, there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Can I buy a vowel, please? You're so welcome. Thank you as well, Nicole. Excellent. Oh, you did? Oh, that's wild, Per. Oh my gosh, me. You guys have these dreams. Get on the list. We'll do more dream readings. Let's make it a dream reading day. A lot of dog energy in your dream last night? That's interesting. Formula, thank you for the follow. And just reading back over the comments. How you doing today, Chuck? Hi. Yep, I've got you on the list, Angeli. Excellent. 1 minute. Chuck, I'm not sure what you're indicating there. I think that you might be reading something into it. I didn't see anything about being chased in that dream space. Yeah. You have a dream journal, but it's not in the bedroom. What like That's one of the things they're also articulating, right? The difference between writing something in an alpha state rather than an omega state, which is the space by which you've contemplated it. If you wake up at night, you use your phone to take notes, but I think they might be. I would try bringing the book into the room, because you have to understand. You have to understand. I know. Thank you for telling me that. No, you have to understand. So that you have to understand the device. You can't write, and you're writing in an omega state, because you have to understand that. Like, how do I describe this? Because your brain, it activates a different part of the brain when you type. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, that's why they're saying try to handwrite it, because like I feel like there's something important about you not having to wake up your omega state to type. Yeah. I always write my dreams the minute I wake up. Not always, but often. Well, that's good. It's yeah, you should definitely have a dream journal, Laura. How can you be in here? How dare you? How dare you be in this room right now? I am personally offended. After all of this work we do here, it's taking you this long. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, witches, how are you, dear? It's so good to see you. How you been? It's been a minute. How's this moon treating you? Voice recordings. I mean, voice recording is good too. There's something to be said for that. Yeah, I mean that's true, Chuck. But like, the mind works to protect us from stuff. You know? Yeah. I tried, my voice resisted. Also, I'm impressed. I'm pressed for time after Dreamscape. I record on my phone. That's I mean, like, voice recording's okay too, right? But I think that what they were trying to articulate is making sure that you're not trying to like, you have to understand, like, it's hard to type and then go back into an alpha state, is what I think is what's being indicated there, because it's like it activates a different part of your brain. Yeah. I'm alert. I often have thoughts in my dream to not forget to write them down. Yeah. We are all doing it. How you doing, Trishina? We understand. Yes. Been better. Okay. I'm sending you support, dear. You as me. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Your cat refuses to touch other people. Okay, so you're seeing it there. Excellent. And Adam, thank you for those gifts. They were wearing a white shirt, nightgown around, and voluptuous. I like that word. Thank you for the share, Abdul. Or Abul. If I'm ever incorrectly saying your name, by all means, please feel free to correct me. Yeah, different generations of connection. Yeah, and June, thank you for the follow. You're welcome, Per. Thank you for sharing the dream. Bear with me a minute. Shwania, thank you for the follow. Hold on a minute. Jacinta, so these are donation-based reads. So if you'd like a read, all you need to do is send the donation. Or if you become a super fan, I'm also happy to pull a card for you as well. But we are also, again, if you stick around, if you don't have the means, often the interpretations we have here will connect. So there's that as well. You're so welcome. You're so welcome, Per. And Rai, thank you for the follow. I do pet readings, Shwania. Oh. Well, again, I'm happy to do an energetic read on them. And thank you for encouraging everyone to get on the list with dreams, Per. I appreciate it. Oddly enough, my boss had a weird dream, and you were in it to join the list to find out. Okay. Going to follow you. Yeah. I would kind of, I have to tell you, I'm going to be honest, Nicole, like, I would prefer you have their consent. If you were to do so, I would prefer if you had their consent for me to read into that dream, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'll definitely bring that back to my journal. Yeah, I agree with the typing is less ideal. Got you. Excellent. And Krista, thank you for the follow. Yep. You sent an email. Thank you, dear. Oh, thank you for the compliment, Krista. Yeah, of course it's okay to send a message about the reading. Mercy, thank you for the follow. Okay, you asked them. Okay, good. Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's I get it. Okay, cool. Like, yeah, that's the only thing I would say. Like, I'm happy to do a dream interpretation on another person's dream on their behalf, so long as you have their consent in doing so. Pay for it to be weird. I mean, like, I can't promise you it won't be weird when I find it. That's very funny. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person we're actually reading for today is Angelique. Angelique, if you're here, can you respond in all caps and let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, the list is open. It's a great time to get on the list. You will be the fourth person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. How are you doing today, Angelique? I know that, and the fact they sense it's weird, I don't know about all that. The dream is super interesting. Now we're all like, what was the dream? Now we're all like, well, why don't you give us a dream? You go away for a little bit. I'll interpret it. And then anybody here can assess as to the weirdness level as it relates to whether you want to have the interpretation chair. Well, we'll have to do a weirdness level assessment. You know, we'll assess the weirdness. They'll be like, it's a weirdness level 2. It's safe to read. Or be like, it's a weirdness level 2. It's high up there. It's high up there. Thank you for the follow, Bun. All right, let's continue right now. And just bear with me a moment. All right. Okay, so I do need a moment to read over this dream. So while we wait, let me give you guys a hearth warmer. Let me think of a hearth warmer. Where's my? Oh, there it is. Hold on a minute. Hearth warmer. All right, why don't you comment what your favorite flower is? All right. That's a really cute name for a dog. I just want to point out. Oh, man. Oh, that's really sweet. Mm. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Okay, great. Oh my God, that's such a cute name for a dog. All right, I'm gonna pin it up here. Before we continue right now, we are gonna warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal oracle cards here. We're gonna count back from 10. When we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elisa, look at you. You got the cat. Well done. All right. The dog's name is Goose. It's just like a great name for a dog. It's a good name. Well done, Glam. Well done. All right, let's get to it. All right. Yeah. And I'm going to pin up here. Hold on, I'm going to pin up. One moment, please. I'm Figment. Got you. All right. One, two. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm seeing in relationality to this. And it's going to be kind of an energetic read on this individual to kind of give you their perception on something. And I want to describe, I feel like this is someone who works really hard to keep things energetically professional. And the one thing I'm seeing is, I don't know why, but I am seeing a situation about, I keep on hearing they're still recovering from that friendship that soured, is what I'm getting. And when I keep on, like, I've got this like sour, I've got this like very sour taste in their mouth. And the reason I'm seeing that there's like a sour taste, and the sour taste in someone's mouth is not related to you. But I'm going to just walk you through what's being shown to me. I'm seeing a situation by which they had a close friendship in the context of, like, I keep on hearing, I keep on getting, it was a friendship with no walls. And the thing about it is, the reason I keep on hearing it's a friendship with no walls was that it was a friendship by which somebody would see somebody at work, and then they would see them after work, right? And the hard part about it is, it feels to me, and this isn't you, I need to stress this, I just keep on seeing a situation by which another person is articulating upon the fact that they needed some alone time, is what I keep on getting, and the space by which another person took it profoundly personally is what I keep on seeing, right? Like the space by which, and I keep on, I need to stress this, like, when in a healthy space, to say that we need alone time is like the healthiest thing that we can do, right? Like it's like, it's often the space by which we say to one another, like, I'll leave you to it. You know, it's got a lot of that type of energy there. So the thing I keep on identifying in relationality to that is the space by which I feel like there was something about this person that they were really worried that that was going to happen again. Because I keep on seeing somebody who, in the context of working with you, was really worried, right? Was really worried about getting close to you, specifically because they still had that sour taste in their mouth from that experience. And I keep on getting, like, the thing about it is, like, I'm getting here, like, that was not their fault. That was somebody who was lacking boundaries, is what I keep on seeing. But the thing is, all it takes, all it takes for some energy is to meet, like, one, and this is what we talk about trauma, right? All it takes is sometimes meeting one person with a lack of boundaries that makes it really, really hard to hold friendship again. Like, that's what's so difficult about it, because it feels like somebody who's recovering from another person's obsession. And the hard part about it is, like, the way you can usually tell that there's an obsession issue happening is when somebody's like, when someone takes the fact that another person needs alone time personally. Like, where are you going? Like, like, why can't I come with you? Like, okay. Like, I feel like there's something about that. And so I feel like I see somebody, right? I literally see, like, I see a situation where someone feels, like, I keep on getting, it feels like they're saying, happy, like, sad for you, but happy for the friendship, is what I keep on seeing. Because it feels like they now feel the ability to have a friendship on their own terms, right? Like, having a friendship on healthy ground that isn't triggering them, is what I keep on seeing. It's not going to trigger them, because I keep on seeing that there's something about this energy that holds, right? Like, I literally see, like, they've got, like, I feel like they hold hard bars, like, as it relates to the friendships that they have professionally, specifically because they were energetically recovering from an experience like the one that I just articulated. So now I keep on seeing, I literally see somebody who feels like, I keep on seeing, it's like somebody breathing a sigh of relief, because, and it's funny too, because I keep on hearing them say, it's funny because they're saying, and I want to point out there's something here that's healing, because every time I read from them, I keep hearing them say, I can have friends again. I think what they did with you is something that they have not done in a really long time. I don't think you realize the full impact of them coming to, like, just, like, I just keep on saying the full impact of someone just coming to hang out, because I have some of this energy here, right? And I got to point out, like, there's, I mean, these cards aren't hermit cards, but they could be. They could be. Like, these cards here, it's like they're not hermit cards, but you'd be really surprised that they're not, because I literally see, I keep on hearing this energy. They're hermiting up because they're in recovery, is what I keep on seeing. They've got a lot of hesitation in the realm of building friendship because of something that I'm articulating that I think that they're still recovering from. And so I can see a situation by which I see somebody who feels I feel like they feel very torn, is what I'm seeing. Because I see on one hand, they feel very, like they're sad that they don't get to see you every day. But on the other hand, they realize that it's not triggering them to see you anymore. Specifically because they realize that the trigger that they were feeling had to do with the environment that you were in, not you, is what I keep on getting. And that's also why they brought their dog over. I would be curious as to when they got that dog, because there's something about there's something about that pet energy that's stepping forward, that's saying to me that they got the dog after an experience, right? Like, the dog stepping forward as like, and it's interesting too, because even with the name of them, like the space by which, right? Like, I feel like the animal spirit next to them is straight up protection. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a very, very big dog, because I just keep on seeing that, like, something occurred, is what I keep on getting. Like, and that's the hard part about it. Like, it's interesting too, because I've almost got the pet energy trying to communicate upon the fact that they don't talk about it much. But that's why they're saying, like, I keep on seeing, like, they're like, I keep on hearing that. It's interesting because, like, that pet saying, I'm here for when talking is over. Like, they're like, I'm here for when talking is over, is what I keep on seeing. Like that, like, I've got something here in relationality to just an experience, right? By like where I just keep on seeing like this energy is like they're they're very, very protective of them. So that's why I see that even in the space by which they brought them, right? Like it was like I feel like they were like they wanted them to meet you as much as they wanted to introduce you to them is what I keep on seeing, you know? But I want you to be conscientious about that because I know I don't know if you realize this, but I just keep on getting the fact that they came over was a huge breakthrough. And I keep on getting it was a huge breakthrough for them. So thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and Mylayo. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. We're also at 12.7K likes. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. Like Laurel's like coconut, coconut. Hold on a moment. Yeah. Hold on. Oh, just reading over the comments that came through. I know, and the fact that I sense it's weird. I love it, Nicole. Yeah, the dream's super interesting. Yeah, if you want to post it, you can decide if you want me to interpret it. Yep. No problem, Nicole. And thank you again for the follow, Bun. Thank you for reposting. Oh, peace, love, and light back to you as well, Dizo. Excellent. Oh, I don't know these. Now I want all of these posted. I've never heard of that, Daisy Laurel. He's so sweet. That dog. No. That's. I just need to show you. You can't see what happened, right? When I said no. Do you see this? Do you see the? This is that energy, right? This is that like they're like no, I'm very sweet when I want to be. Where the energy going when I want to be? This is the energy that says, yeah, I'm sweet to you, right? It's like that's what I'm seeing there. Yeah, like that energy is like it's when I say like sometimes some guard energy is being like, you've seen the sweet side of me. I've got a lot of I've got a lot of sides. Yeah, they're big as well. Absolutely. In your dream as well. Yep. Yeah, I can see. No, that softball can become a hard ball real quick. Is what I keep on seeing. Real quick. You're so welcome, T. No, it's a pet reading. It's not a pet reading. I like Laurel. Laurel, give it a minute. You're gonna get there. I should have been more clear. It's an energetic read. It was an energetic read on a person, but now, I mean, it's funny because it became a pet reading inadvertently. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Larissa, for getting on the list here. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the 4th person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and Mylayo. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. Excellent. Yes, and we do hear highest party messages from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide readings, pet readings, akashic, mind, body, spirit, aura, and love. Hi there, Bun. I'm happy to read for you on that. If you'd like to get on the list, list is open. You will be the you'll be the fourth person read for. I feel like they're constantly worried about it happening again. You know, like I just keep on seeing they're very like, and it's no offense to anyone, is what I keep on seeing. You know, they're in a deep space of recovery. Yeah, it's definitely why they hold themselves back. I don't think they like to talk about it. Like even when I was trying to read into the pet was like I'm here so that they don't have to talk about it, because it feels like somebody who was like trying to force a conversation out of them, you know? Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, at least you were quiet about it. We were all just up in the chat space. How are you doing today, Larissa? The list is open. I've got you on it, dear. It is incredibly sweet. Yeah, it says to me, it feels like a real breakthrough. Yeah, she got them with the ex, and they were there when they broke up and over the years. Yeah, recovering from the relationship. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. She was surprised. Hold on. Yeah, okay, thank you for confirming what I was saying. So they were recovering from that relationship, and they told you that they'd spent a lot of time hugging and crying with him after it. Yeah, that's what I meant. They got them. It was like they did not get I'm going to tell you right now what I was seeing. The pet energy I saw around them was saying that they did not get them to recover. It feels like there was an element of protection there too. Yeah, they were interrupted. Yeah, she was surprised by how much they loved you. Oh, that's beautiful. They are. That's what they're doing. Yeah, I can see. No, it's the. I mean, they adore her, is what I was seeing there. Like that. Like they adore her. Yeah, I mean, it's mutual. Yeah, hold on a moment. Hold on a minute. Hi there, Lucas. How are you doing today, dear? Yep. I've gotten really close with them over the year, and we've known each other. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I keep on seeing there's something really important. I keep on seeing in relationality to them introducing them to others, in terms of like I feel like they're very much connected to their own like to them feeling safe in relationality to how that pet effectively feels like when they're experiencing them, is what I keep on seeing. Oh, I want to see it, Laurel. It sounds beautiful. It's okay, Per. I mean, you know where you can find it. You can find it over on the place where we keep the videos, or the place where we keep the photos. I got you on the list, Larissa. I think you are. I feel like I need to point out, it feels like you've already helped them tremendously in that way. A huge transition. No problem, dear. Happy to help you. I'm doing well. How are you? And thank you for becoming a member of my fan club. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Stella. Stella, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading, or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And just a reminder to anyone who'd like to get on the list is open right now. You will be the fourth person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. Also, we are doing here highest party messages from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide readings, pet readings, akashic, mind, body, spirit, love, and aura. If you have information that you feel is necessary or relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only Disco channel in the appropriate channels. Kat, the list is open if you would like to get on it. Excellent. All right. And thank you for the heart me's, guys. Please remember to recharge your heart me's if you're joining us over on the place where we keep on the clock app. If you also would like an animal oracle card on top of your one card readings. Also a reminder to those who are members over on the place where we keep the videos, your membership there also entitles you to a one card. And for those who are joining us right now over on the place where we keep the photos, please remember that I'm trying to get my numbers up there so that we are able to offer membership as well. If you give me a follow there and comment followed, I will be happy to give you a reading. I will be happy to give you an affirmation from the Guide for Advanced Soul. And if you're already following me there and would still like an affirmation, just share the live with 3 friends. And when you do so, comment shared, and I'll be happy to read you an affirmation as well. Thank you. Excellent. All right, let's get to it. Then while we wait for Kath's question, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I mean, Stella, is Stella here? Stella, I haven't seen you comment. Second call right now for Stella. Okay, it looks like Stella might not be here. Ta-da, thank you for the follow. If Stella isn't here, Alyssa, you are the next person to read. We're reading for. Excellent. I know you're here. All right. I've got the Animal Spirit Guide card here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the blackbird. We'll do that again after the next reading. Excellent. And I'm going to pin up Alyssa here. Guys, make sure to give Alyssa some love. I would like guidance about my mom, about momming. I'm hard on myself, but my kids need more. Oh, I got you, dear. Okay, let's get to it. All right. And before we continue right now, just bear with me a moment. Oh. My goodness. All right, there we go. Okay, can I get 4 cards, please? And 2 more, please. So, you know, we gotta talk about it, because it's interesting too, because I feel like I'm not feeling like there's not something I'm picking up here. I want to walk you through it, because it feels less about where you are and more about what's going on between them is what I'm seeing. Like, we have to talk more about like what I'm seeing here, we have to talk more about the relationship between them that's happening, because you know, I see one person here that, and the best way, like the best way I can describe it is, how do I explain this most in most elegant way? You know, I feel like there's something that I'm identifying here that, like, I don't know why, but it feels like somebody who has like, this is the way I'm describing it, like there's this, like there's some kind of possessiveness issue that I'm seeing that's occurring between two different energies, right? And the first energy is very much in the space by which, like, and I want to describe it as, I feel like the first energy is much more, like, is much more generous, is the best way I can describe it, which is like, it's like the modality by which they have, like, they work into the context of building into things, but there's this, like, I just keep on seeing there's this, like, there's this generosity, or there's this effluviance there, right? Which is the space by which another person, like, speaks upon things, right? And I keep on seeing, even in the way that they articulate or speak upon things, I'm just picking up um, a bit of this energy that, like, they're much more, they feel much more secure with themselves, you know? And so when energy is secure with themselves, the best thing you can do is communicate to them maturely, right? Securely need something energetically mature. Because when someone's secure, um, the hardest thing to do is try to talk down to them, right? Because I would not be surprised when I see energy like this, right? When I see energy like this, that effectively feels like, I like this could often create this, and I know it's hard too, especially like this is like these are good cards to see around each other, right? Because, and I want to point out, because, like, even in the space by which there's something that they're working through, like they have, and I think that that's the hard part. Like, I see somebody with a tendency of not wanting to bring their problems to other people. Like, it's a little bit of this is a little hyper independent in terms of saying, like, I'll handle it, right? Because it seems like they don't like making a big deal out of things, you know? And I feel like that's the hardest part here, right? I feel like there's somebody here that potentially is working through the context of not wanting to add any undue stress upon something. This energy, and we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this energy that I'm seeing here, because these two cards, like, and this here, these two cards together, right? Which is like this is feeling a little more scorpionic, right? This is feel like, this is like somebody you gotta, like, I am watching you, like, I'm watching you, right? Like, it's like that is what I'm seeing, because, like, and I need to stress this, you know, like, and I gotta point this out, right? And I think that you have to, like, Yeah, like, and the thing about it is like a Scorpio, they can't help it. You know what I mean? Which is like, and I like to point this out, like there's a little bit of like when I talk about scorpionic, I mean in the best way possible, which is like when somebody has the ability to see the bright side in anything, right? It's like once they make their mind up on something, and this is what you have to say to them, and this is what you need to talk, you have to talk to somebody about being a unified front on things. I don't care if you're not together. This is why you have to be a unified front on things, because energy like this, right? Energy like this will be like, oh, you're not talking to them? Oh, would you like me to tell you what they said? Right? Would you? Right? Well, I have it under good authority. Nope, I had this conversation. I had this conversation. Oh, no, no, we like no, I had this conversation. I am no, I like it's like can the conversation I keep can the conversation please stand up? It was it a conversation, right? Was it a conversation, or like I feel like that, like, you got to talk to somebody about it, because and I need to point this out, and you have to have a conversation with someone that says I don't care what's going on between you and another person. Like this is why you have to be regardless of what's happening, you have to be a unified front, because with energy like this, like with energy like this, if the front is not unified, and I don't mean I mean, I kind of like, I have a sweet spot for Scorpios, but Scorpionic energy is like, if the front is not unified, then the advantage, then the front shall be advantaged. Like the front shall be advantaged, right? It's like, if the front is not unified, then the front shall be advantaged to the full point of the advantage that the front is not unified, right? And I think you have to talk to somebody. You have to talk to somebody about this, because this is how you have to love, right? This is how I have to love this energy, which is saying like, nice try, nice try, nice try, right? Like you have to like, nice try. And so you have to bring this awareness, because energy like this will have people dancing. Energy like this will have people like they'll have them pirouette, like someone will like they'll have them pirouetting. You know what I mean? I mean, it's great, but like you have to you have to be able to articulate to another person. Like you have to help them understand, right? You have to help them understand why it's important for you and another person to communicate, because the modality by which another person, right? I keep on hearing and I keep on hearing when I say unified, which means the no resonates. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to, like the no resonates, which is the modality by which they don't feel like they have to go somewhere else to try to get an opinion that's different than the one that they don't like, is what I keep on hearing. So I feel like it's like everything I see is healthy here, but I feel like it's requiring you to take different approaches. This energy here, you have to say to them that their problems are not a burden, and that they don't have to carry everything internally. And this energy here, like you gotta you gotta say to somebody, like they are not the first person to invent. Like I see this energy being like, I have figured something out. You did not figure that out. You have to say to somebody, I've been doing that for years, right? It's like that, bottom of the deck. Yeah, like, yeah. This is like a scientist energy, right? So I feel like, I need to stress this. Like a lot of this energy that we're potentially seeing here, right? And this is what you have to say to somebody, right? And I know that this is hard, because I feel like you have to say to somebody that regardless of how you and another person feel about each other, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you feel when you have the best interests, right? When you have the best interests, you can put aside your differences, right? And I feel like that's a kind of conversation that you need to have with someone, right? Which is working through, like, and I need to point this out. When parents are petty, I keep on hearing this, the pettiness between family only hurts. There's only one person that gets hurt in the face of mature pettiness. And I know you know that, right? But I feel like that's a conversation you have to have with another person, right? That the modality of not allowing, right? The modality of not potentially allowing another person's, right? Another person's feelings to like override the determinations or the decisions that you're making with another person, right? And so I feel like you have to talk to them about how to be. And I keep on saying this conversation isn't even something you need to have with this energy. You have to have it with the person that's also a part of this, which is working upon being a unified field, right? And a unified field is often the space by which you articulate that you say to another person, we feel the same way about this. We've discussed it, right? And I feel like that's going to help. So I know that sometimes is impossible. It can sometimes be impossible in the context of, what another person is available for, but it might be something important to try to punctuate in relationality to a conversation, is what I keep on seeing. Thank you so much for having this reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. We've got 3 spots available before the list will be closed. It's 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and Mylayo. Please keep in mind, there are 3 things I don't read for across the apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment. We've got 3 spots available today before the list will be closed. I'm going to read over the comments to confirm as well. Yeah, exactly. It is, Bridget. Like you nailed. Like yeah, Storm. It was Storm the Castle energy. That's the thing about it. Like that's like I see one person that's like this, and I see another person who's like this. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. It's familiar. Interesting, Adam. That's an interesting word for it. It's secure, but I feel like if anything, I feel like that's a hard part. Like I see somebody who feels like you've been through enough. And so it feels more like somebody, like I see somebody who's just like, they don't want to add, like I see somebody who feels a lot of empathy and they don't want to add further like harm in the space by which they're going. And I feel like that's what you have to say to somebody. Like their burdens do not burden you, right? That it's it's the ability to kind of work through it. Yeah. I feel like I don't push them enough. I'm not pushing. I mean, well, here's the thing about, you can't push. When that type of energy, you can't push someone to talk about what might be bothering them. But the space by which you let them know that you're there, right? Like that is the best thing you can do. You can say to somebody like, the door's always open and I always want to hear it, you know? Yeah, absolutely. I understand. I can see that. But it's different. It's like I see for one person, it's harder. Like I keep on hearing it almost feels the more mature energy I feel like is working through it. I don't know why it feels like another, like that's the thing I'd be conscientious about. It feels like there's another energy there that's kind of like I told you, like there's a little bit of that, you know what I mean? Like someone being like, you know, like, yeah. They it's like they want help, but they won't ask because they don't want to burn. Exactly. That's exactly what I was reading upon. Yeah, that is the other energy I was seeing, the scorpionic energy that you got to look out for. Like, because I just keep on seeing somebody, like, I just, there's a little bit of this. It's sweet, but like, you have to, like, I keep on seeing, like, you have to say to somebody, right? Like, not, don't even think, like, it's a little bit of this, I love you, don't even think about it, right? Yeah, they're scorpionic like a rock. I fear this is me. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was talking to him about, his future. Exactly. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, exactly. You're like, yeah, and that's the thing about it. You being like, I know that you feel like you're just discovering these things. Yeah, they're fixed on one thing. Okay, thank you for confirming what I was seeing there. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. No, but that's the hard part about it, right? Thank you for confirming what I was reading for. Yeah, it was. It stormed the castle kind of energy. Yeah, you're the nice try. Exactly. But that's what you have to have a conversation with someone about. Like that right there, you know? Hi, Chris. The list is open, Julia. If you'd like to get on the list, you will be the you'll be the one, two, three, four, five, six person read for. Yeah, that's a rub. I want to be there, but not dancing. And I think like that's the hard part about it. You have to talk to another person about it. You have to tell them your energetic anxiety surrounding it, you know? Kath, I'll confirm. I didn't, I will add you to the list as well. Thank you for letting me know, dear. I got you. Okay, so we've got Kath and we've got Nikki. And we've got 2 more spots today before the list will be closed. Hi there, Lydia. Thank you. Ooh, everybody's had weird dreams. Okay. Yeah, but the thing about it is like, and I think that that's the important thing, right? Like trying to help another person, like understand why you guys have to be unified about things, you know? Like not, I keep on hearing like not personal, unified, you know? I'm glad that this reading helped. I got you, Kath. I'm going to read the list for those on it. Yeah, absolutely. And Christy, thank you for the follow. Hold on. Heavy feelings, working through it. I mean, we're seeing that a bit right now, G. There's a coming out of a Libra full moon. There can be a lot of feelings there. Yeah, my parents are also here to help. I'll ask for their positive energy too. Yeah, don't be. Whenever I read, but here's the thing about it, whenever I read for Scorpios, Scorpios are always like, "Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious." Yeah, I've been saying this. This is tough love a lot, but and they're going to see it as that. You know, and I need to point this out, right? And this is what you have to be conscientious about with Scorpio energy, right? Like Scorpio energy will hold another person accountable for what they could energetically get away with. You know, like that's the hard part with Scorpio energy, right? Like Scorpio energy, and this is what's so hard about, and this is often something that Scorpios need to heal, right? Like the modality by which, you know, like I often feel um like the space by which like the space by which Scorpio heals the ability to like do things, but being like, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you kids. Like the space of understanding and being like, stop doing things, like stop doing things that you have to use the word get away with. Like stop like there I have assessed the problem, right? I have assessed the problem right there. The problem right there is the fact that get away with should never enter the vernacular. Okay. Like that's like there's your problem right there. Like there, yeah, I found it. Like there it is, that thing. Like that what is that? Get away. Like stop doing things that you have to articulate with getting away with. Yeah. We haven't started one cards yet, Erica. Oh, move it, try to move it into productivity right now, Gigi. I know this energy like can be a little bit heavy for those who carry it as anxiety. Yeah. Oh, I like Friday reads too. Grounding and hydrating is a good thing to do right now too. You're so welcome, dear. Absolutely. And thank you for those roses, Laura. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today. Larissa, what's going on with your throat? Oh, gosh. Larissa, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. You're so welcome, dear. And we're also at 25. Yeah, that makes sense. 25. Yeah, thank you for confirmation. Oh, okay, thank you. It's all right. I was just trying to figure out what's going on there. Yeah, you just had food lodged in my throat. Okay, like an hour ago. Okay, thank you for confirming. All right, I was like, what? All right, we're there. All right, let's continue right now. Before we continue, though, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. All right. And I'm going to count back from 10. When we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the cow. Thank you for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. And all right. All right, let's get to it. I'm gonna hold on, Larissa. Let me get you here. Guys, make sure you give Larissa some love. Oh, it's an ancestral reading. All right. Are we doing a general reading, or do you have a specific question you wanted to answer? I just want to confirm. Because there's a lot of energy around you. I'm just trying to confirm what's going on. Clarification on the current energies. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, dear. Yeah, because it's hard. You know, the reason I'm saying it is because you've got a very heavy ancestral energy, which okay. 1 minute. Let's hold off for a moment. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. 1 second. But I mean, I feel like it's hard, right? Because, and I need to point this out. Okay, like we need to like, just give me a minute. One moment. Yeah, so the thing I'm identifying, and I want to be clear upon something here, is, how do I describe this? I feel like, okay, I need to walk you through, okay, so there's a couple of different things I'm seeing right now, okay? And you're going to have to give me a minute because it's a little bit complicated to explain. I see somebody that really wants to be honest with you, but they are still very, very, very traumatized from their last relationship. And that has nothing to do with you, but unfortunately, like the way life works, you know what I mean? Like the way life often works is that we have to contend with the damage of another person. Like, I keep wondering, we have to contend with the damage of another person making a bad choice. And the reason I keep on seeing, and the word bad is interesting because in the qualifier of it being bad, I literally see somebody who is incredibly, right, an incredibly good person. And the hard part about it is I wish we lived in a world, right? I wish we lived in a world where another person saw a good person and said, oh, good, a good person. I'm going to do everything I can to protect them at all cost, right? Like that's the type of world that I wish that we lived in. But unfortunately, right, the modality, it happens that when we, like when we don't have, like when we are thinking selfishly, then we don't think about each other's best interest, you know? And the hard part about it is I literally see somebody who is deeply, deeply, deeply taken advantage of. Deeply taken advantage of. And the hard part about it is I see you trying to do everything you can to try to help another person. But the modality, but I keep on seeing you having to say to someone, you can't help them unless you know what's happening. You can't help anything if you aren't involved or invested in the choices that they're making. You know? And that's and like that, you know, like that is the hardest point because I literally see a situation, right? Like I literally see that there's something about this energy. They get themselves in situations, you know, and I can see them like trying to do something and you having to say like you see? Because and I want to point out like as soon as I started reading for this, and this is why this I literally had to tell, I have to save some of this reading for one of your ancestors because I actually had to tell them that I would give them some time about it because like just give like that's like a whole different thing on it. But like the thing I need to point out, and I think that it's really hard when I'm seeing a situation like this because I feel like it's like I feel like the conversation you have to have with someone is, and I can even see it, you having to impress upon them that when you're in relationship, then the way that you effectively, one of the ways that you identify that you're working through healthy relationship is the space by which you make choices together. And the reason that we want to make choices together is not because, right? It's not because, and it's really hard when I see a situation like this. It's not because you want to butt in, but the modality by which you can potentially say, I can show you things about situations that you might not necessarily be attenuated to see, right? And so I feel like that is the conversation that you may want to have with another person, which is the modality by which, like I keep on hearing you say, you wouldn't have to come to the rescue if you are making the choices together, right? And so I feel like it's hard because this conversation you say to someone is like, this is how, like you saying, this is how I get to rescue you less, right? Like this is how I get to rescue you less. Like, you know, if we just made choices together, it wouldn't kind of require the rescuing, is what I keep on seeing. But it's often hard, right? It's often hard when I see something like this, because I almost feel like I see somebody that's still healing from a circumstance or situation by which, like, I just keep, like, it's like, I feel like it's, like, and I don't even see, like, I feel like, you know, it's almost like the observation of you having to say to somebody, right, like, that's how Like that's how we heal, and that's how we help each other. It's the modality by which we're able to energetically make determinations together. Now, I have to kind of leave, I mean, again, in relationality to the ancestral energy that was coming through, you know, it's funny because the ancestral energy has like a few very specific things to say. And I feel like the hard part about it, it's like I keep on hearing like the way that they articulate it, because you've got an ancestor that's stepping forward, that's like they're using it's interesting because they're using certain words in different languages, but I know what the words are, even though it's not the language that I know enough about the language. But they're talking about like a head that is very hard. It's okay. Which is basically what they're saying is like life requires us to have a hard head. It's funny. I'm just going to go through what they're telling. Like they're trying to articulate the fact that life requires us to go through a hard head, but we don't. But who we apply that hard head to talks about who we're afraid of, right? And the thing about it is sometimes, and I keep on seeing, right, the modality by which another person understands that they can take their helmet off is what I keep on getting, right? Like the space by which another person can be vulnerable. Sometimes that allows, like sometimes it's the space by which if they would talk to you, like this is what they're articulating. The ancestors saying if they would talk to you, but before they make a decision, they wouldn't have to have a hard head all the time, is what I keep on seeing. Because I feel like I feel like you guys, like the ancestors basically saying you guys complement each other, right? And sometimes, right, like sometimes, like it requires, like sometimes, and I feel like that's in a way, like that's how I feel like they can help you, right? Because I think that I see them trying to help you learn that you don't have to be so adaptable to everything, right? But often, but it only works, like I keep on seeing, right? It only works if you're making decisions together. And I feel like this person's talking about the fact that they never learned that in their life. Like I literally see that there's an ancestor around you that's saying, don't do what I did, which is like I see somebody who like they're articulating upon the fact that they were very hard-headed, like, but to their detriment. Right? I feel like, and often I need to point this out. Sometimes I see this with energy that's very hard-headed in their existence. They go into they move into the afterlife and they're like, oh, I was making it harder for myself. Like it's like because like they start to see, right? They start to see that sometimes that when you're hard-headed in life, others fear you and you miss out on conversations, right? When you're too hard-headed, you miss all the soft energy that's around you that's trying to effectively protect you in the space by which you feel like you have to be hard all the time. So I feel like it's almost like the space where someone has to understand that they get to be protected too. And the way that others can protect them is by talking, right? Talking about things and understanding that it's safe to be vulnerable. Bottom of the deck on this reading. And I feel like that ancestor had an issue with their throat too. So they're just bringing that up because they're articulating the fact that you'll help, like it'll help you understand who I'm talking about, because they keep on they keep on clearing their throat and they're trying to give an indication on who they are by doing so. So bottom of the deck, where's the bottom of the deck? Thank you. Yeah, we've got this seven of, and I like, yeah, that I think that there was something that happened with their throat. Seven of Swords in its upright. I don't know why somebody, I don't know, is somebody like, this is going to sound really weird, but I've had this coming through sometimes. The problem with the ancestor energy is like, and I need to point out, like when the ancestors and energy is insistent, I always try to give them the floor sometimes, because sometimes they're like, they don't, like, I don't know why they're going like this, but like they want somebody to stop. They want somebody to stop smoking. I don't know who it is, but I feel like they're like, I see them even if they feel like they're hiding it, is what I keep on hearing, because I smelled it. Like I smelled it when they came in, is what I was getting. I don't know why they're articulating that. I just sometimes, like, again, I always have to, like, I have to separate out sometimes, but there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of pushy ancestral energy, but they really wanted to communicate that, is what I see, because I feel like they're very invested in you and another person trying to energetically resolve something, but I keep on seeing like no, and I feel like they're bringing that up in relationality to like not moving around each other but working together. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. I've got 2 spots available before the list will be closed. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. And Steve, thank you for the follow. Julie, yes, if you want to get on the list, I've got 2 more spots available today. Yep. And thank you for confirmation about what was going on with your throat. Hi there, dear. Oh, I think that's beautiful. It's a beautiful day for it, Jake. And Kayla, thank you for the follow. It feels more like horse than cow. Yep, absolutely. And Sally, thank you for the follow as well. I know, I wish we lived in a world like we were getting there, right? We can get there. It's not impossible. We just got to start. I firmly believe we just need to start taking care of each other a bit more, you know? And Nick, thank you for the follow. Thank you for also resonating with this too, Nikki. Yeah, I've tried to actively help, and I've released the attachment as well to let them navigate it. Both have been difficult, but this is the thing about it, and I need to stress this: you can't force, right? You can't force somebody if they like, and I feel like it's you having to say to someone like, you're not gonna like, you can't force them because that would be over like that would be pushing against their boundaries, right? So I feel like, you know, it's interesting too, and I feel like even the fact that there was an ancestral energy pushing so hard to get into the reading, like I feel like that's the space by which another person is saying that they're respective about the fact that you're not forcing things because they were very forceful, right? And it shouldn't take that, is what I keep on seeing, right? Yeah. And thank you as well, Amatria. Yeah, take the helmet off. Yeah, feeling very tender, but I have to mask because I'm protecting them. I mean, you know, and you know, it's hard, right? Like sometimes when you recognize that, Gigi, like the best we can do is everything we can do, but like we can't, like you like if you recognize that you like that you're doing that, then let that reaffirm you. Yes, so you know who that energy was that I was speaking towards. Thank you. Hi there, James. Well, it's interesting because on their side, yeah, and on the other hand, I feel like I can't expand with them. But I want to I like the thing about it is like I was basically seeing like the possibility of expanding is there, but they need to start involving you in their choices. There's no expansion unless you're making choices together. And if that's the energy that continues to be making choices for you instead of with you, then like you have to, I feel like that's a conversation you need to have with them. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, but it's interesting too because honestly, I'd be honest, it felt like somebody coming through, like there was some, like it's interesting because I saw your energy, but there was also a masculine coming through as well on their side that was trying to take responsibility for the fact that they were like that. You know, like that's why like it was giving me a little bit of energy saying like it was like pardon me, but like it was like that type of energy too, right? So and I feel like it was interesting because often when I see that, it's the energy like it feels like that's why there's so much energy around you because it feels like both of the energy are unified in terms of the choices that you're making right now, right? Yeah, I know. I know, but here's the thing about it, like, and I'm not, you may know this, like, I'm not a big fan of that term because often that term is talking about a relationship that burns, which means a relationship that hurts, and a relationship should not hurt us, right? It should not be something that we feel like we have to bear. We have to be working, we have to be both mutually working upon what needs to heal. So continue to focus upon that, especially because I feel like if anything, the reading was trying to reaffirm the choices that you're making presently, especially as it relates to healthy boundaries and having and making choice and Like the way you'll know that energy's healed is when they recognize that you make choices together. Thank you, dear. Thank you. And the next person, and as I mentioned, if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, we've got 2 spots available before the list will be closed. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. The next person, how you doing today, Bird? The next person that we're reading for today is Julia. Julia, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And thank you so much for that beautiful origami gift. Excellent. Hi, dear. Hi, James. Sending you support on that journey, Bun. Amanda. First of all, I want you to remember that you're in a safe space right now. Okay? I want you to build into the context that you're safe. I want you to make sure that you're making choices from a safe space. If you're feeling scared, I want you to make sure that you're reaching out to someone who cares for you and communicating the fact that you're feeling fear. Okay? I want you to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in the best way possible. Okay? So, and again, I hope being in this space is helping you feel more energetically secure. But I want to articulate that if you're in that point of fear, I want to make sure that you're reaching out to someone and you're articulating the fact that you feel that way so that you can find some support. Okay? First priority in spirit, we make sure that we're in a healthy space so that we can be of best health and service to all of those around us. So, if you'd like to have a reading, these are donation-based readings. It's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. We also do free 1-card readings here for those who are subscribers. However, if you want to stay within the room, often the messages that come through connect to others as well. So, and again, thank you for being here. All right, the next person we're reading for today is Julia. Julia, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. I'm also still looking for Stella. So Stella or Julia, if you're here. And for anybody who's joining us across the other apps, you can also get on the list today via my tree that has links in it in my bio. We read for here, highest priority messages from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide readings, pet readings, Akashic, mind, body, spirit, aura, and love. If you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only disco channel in the appropriate channels. Yeah, no problem, Kath. The list I have right now is Stella, Julia, Kath, and Nikki. So I wouldn't step away, Kath, because if Julia isn't here, you're actually the next person read for. Unless you want to hold your reading, which you're welcome to do as well. Just let me know. You're so welcome, dear. And thank you, Soup, for those heart me's. Guys, please remember to recharge your heart me's if you're joining us over on the Clock app, if you would like an Animal Oracle card on top of your 1 card. And a reminder to those who are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, the membership price that I mentioned for subscribers is inclusive to anyone who's a paid member there as well. Excellent. Okay, Kath, I actually believe you're the next person we're reading for right now. So if you could let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question. Also, for those who are joining us over on the Clock app, we are at 30.9K likes. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're topping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. All right, and so while we wait for Kath's question, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the hawk, Thank you for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. Got you. All right. I would like to know what to look forward to in career and what's in store for me. I got you, dear. I'm going to pin you up. Guys, make sure to give Kath some love. Four cards. So this looks really interesting because I just want to be clear. Like, I feel like I see something here. There's a lot of cup energy in this reading. And I feel like there's something that I see that is important that I don't know what. Are you transitioning right now in work, or are you trying to get some kind of accreditation in something? Because I see you. I see every time I read for you, like I see you like working towards some kind of expertise. You know what I mean? Like I want to show you these cards here, so to give you a better indication of what I'm identifying. Because I've got, like, look what I mean. Like you've got, and this is what I mean. That's why this looks like expertise cards, because we've got all of these cups here, right? And then the cups start refining, and then the cups get defined, right? And then everything, right? Everything starts to move forward. And then I've got you in the hawk energy. And so I want to describe this, like that work, if you're doing something that's getting you some kind of accreditation here, or something about, and it's interesting too, because it's not just, it's very niche, what I'm seeing, you know? And the thing about, like, I got to describe it, like, and I know sometimes when we're doing, I feel like the reading has to be a bit of a pep talk, because sometimes when we are carving out a niche, it's like, what am I doing? Right? Like, what am I doing? It's like, it's like, it sometimes feels like, I like to point this out, like, it's very similar. Carving out a niche can sometimes feel very similar to the feeling of painting yourself into a corner, is what I keep on getting. And I feel like that's what's coming through in the guide reading, which is understanding that sometimes, sometimes carving out a niche can feel very similar to painting oneself into a corner, because it's the observation or the anxiety. I keep on hearing the observation or the anxiety of doing something in a way by which, like, you're the only one doing it, which is like carving out a niche is literally being as weird as possible. Being as weird as possible. You're gonna feel weird. You're gonna feel stuck because you're carving out a niche, is what I keep on getting. Right? And like it's like there's no groove there, is what I keep on. There you are, just carving that niche, right? And so don't recognize that's the exact feeling of you doing it right. Like, that is exactly that's exactly what it's going to feel like. It's going to feel a little bit weird because, and I want to describe, especially if you're doing something um, in a way that you haven't done it before. Because everything I'm seeing here, and I think that this is really important. Um, I almost, I keep on getting, I feel like you're getting better at being able to energetically express um, what is energetically important. And even in the context by which I see you doing that, and I want to be clear about this. Um, there's something significant about working into the context of and I know you're gonna hate me saying this. Like, I know you're gonna hate me saying this, but you've got to start working on how you talk about yourself, right? And if you flinch when I said that, I'm gonna say it twice, right? If you flinch when you say it, and when I say that, I'm gonna say it twice. It's not it's not bragging. It's not bragging if it's true. It's not bragging if it's true. And I can see the fact, I can see the fact that you've got a lot of like I don't know why, you've got to I keep on and it's interesting too because it's coming specifically from one of your guides. It says um, putting on airs is a good thing if you're trying to make something fly. Is all I keep on hearing. Putting on airs is a good thing if you're trying to make something fly, which is the modality by which, right? Like the modality by which you're able to talk about something and the space by which you're helping another person understand why it's so important to you is what I keep on seeing. And I think it's hard too because I feel like I see you um, getting more confidence around that. But I also feel like there's something about that too, because I don't know what it is that you're doing, but the sound that you're going to hear when you're carving out that niche is I don't agree with you. You know, you have to understand that. And I want to point out there I keep on hearing there's combativeness and there's combativeness, which is basically to say, right? Like the modality by which you're able to throw down is like the sound of a healthy argument, you know? Right? I think it's interesting because I just keep on seeing the space by which being ready to throw down. I like to point this out. Being ready to throw down is the space by which you can throw down respectfully. Yeah, I already know where this bottom of the deck's going to be. I haven't even pulled it yet. Yeah, you can be so respectful. You know, you can be so respectful in the space by which you throw down with someone, right? And I keep on getting the space by which you articulate, um, the space by which you articulate um, how you feel. But I want to point this out. You can't respectfully throw down. I don't know why this is coming through, but I think that this is really important. You can't respectfully throw down in the space by which another person is always looking, is always making it personal. I don't know why. I know you're asking for a career reading here, but I feel like there's something about the guides bringing this up. You can't respectfully, right? A healthy environment to work in is the space by which you can have a disagreement and another person doesn't take it personally. I like to point this out. When we argue with each other, we argue each other in a workspace, we're helping each other, right? Right? It's the space by which the only sound you should hear is saying, I appreciate the feedback, right? Like it's not, it shouldn't be bobblehead energy. Because like I'll tell you right now, often you'll see energy that takes grievances personally, like they'll bobblehead themselves right off a cliff, right? It is literally, it's lemming energy, right? When somebody is in a point of leadership and they can't hear dissent, that is literally lemming energy. And the reason I say that that's lemming energy is because everybody, like they will walk someone straight off a cliff, and there's everybody around them going like, oh, this is great, this is great, this is great, boom, right? And so I feel like that's really important, because if you're in an environment right now where you don't necessarily agree with someone, right? Like the only sound, like I want to point out, they should be calling you in constantly, right? That is a gift. Like that is the space by which you should have it. Like the idea that is fortified in argumentation is a strong idea. But if you're in an environment where it feels like you can't articulate something without another person taking it personally, you got to go. That is not a place by which ideas can grow. So I think that that's really important. I feel like you articulating that to another is also what's going to help you as you find that new opportunity. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards. Actually, a correction, the list is closed. But if you want to get on the list for tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. And Sierra, thank you for the follow. Just reading over. Yeah, Julia might have had to step away. And I think that like there is something I'm seeing right now as it relates to like building into, like that's the conversation. Like I feel like what was coming through in the reading was identifying if that is something that is happening and possible, right? Because I see you like the advantage or the opportunity that I see that you're moving towards is being able to refine something where you are. But the space by which I'm seeing that you'll know that it's time to depart is when, right? The space you'll know that it's time to depart is when you disagreeing with something isn't meant with appreciation, but with someone taking it personally. But you know it was reversed. I like to see the fact that the reverse with the tower was in its reversal there. Okay, thank you. You are thinking of completing some courses. Except I would definitely feel like that's a good direction to move towards. Excellent. And thank you, Hike, for the follow. Yeah, it's like an accreditation, and need to renew my certification. Exactly. Excellent. Thank you, Kath. Yeah, there's also this feeling or thinking, if I pursue this, should I continue to do it? Yeah. Sierra, thank you for the follow, and thank you for those heart knees. Guys, please remember to recharge your heart knees if you're joining us on the Clock app, if you'd like an Animal Oracle card on top of your 1 card. I'm thinking about where I'm going and if I'll continue with this role as well. Absolutely. Yeah, we continue to work on that. Yeah, I won't hate you because you're right. Oh, the list is, I got you on the list first. So I'll read the list for everybody waiting. So the list I have right now, the list is closed for today. We've got Stella, Julia, Nikki, Bridget, and Per. Okay, and if anybody else wants to get on the list, you can get on the list for tomorrow, and you'll have first priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I agree. I really feel like I need to work on how to talk about myself in work situations or environments. Yep, and thank you for sending that baby dragon. Speaking of presents, yep, absolutely. Yep. And Fairy, I'm happy to read for you. If you'd like to get on the list for tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. We're also going to get started. For those waiting, we've got about 4 readings left before we get 1-card readings. For anybody who is a paid member over on the place where we keep the videos, or for anybody who is a subscriber over on the Clock app, just go ahead, you'll be having those 1 cards shortly. And I would like to be able to start offering 1 cards over on the place where we keep the photos. So if you guys could do me a favor and take an opportunity to join me over on the place where we keep the photos today, give me a follow there and just comment followed. I'll be giving you an affirmation from the guidebook for the advanced soul. And if you're already following me there, just go ahead and share the live with 3 individuals and comment share, and I'll also be happy to read you an affirmation. Excellent. Got you. You're so welcome, Kath. Hold on. I was going to get on the list. Hold on a minute. For past life. Oh, we touched on last time. Oh, you can get on the list for tomorrow, Yaz, and you'll have first priority. I'm still torn on whether to explore or stay. I mean, it says to me, like, what's interesting about it is, like, it felt like guidance in terms of, like, how long to stay versus when you'll know it's time, like, when it's time to depart. You're so welcome, dear. Yeah, Julia, we were looking for you. Welcome back. Okay, thank you. The list is closed today, Julia, but if they want to get on the list for tomorrow, they will be the first person read for. They'll have priority. Okay. That said, oh, what's going on, Julia? You not sleep last night? Okay. Ugh, that came out of nowhere. Hold on. You're so welcome, Kath. All right, before we continue right now, can I get one? We're gonna. Whoop! Good Lord. Okay, we're keeping that there. Yeah, you've got all over the place. All right, can I get 1 card, please, for Julia? Before we get started, let's do an intuition check. I already got 2 cards out for you. I've got. Yep, we're gonna count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, nice, Bridget. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the hawk. We'll do it again after the next reading. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a moment to read over what you sent me. Okay. So I feel like I see a situation of someone leaving a trauma environment. And the hard part about um, leaving trauma environments is that um, it sometimes makes us feel like things are okay to do that are clearly not, right? And the best way, and so the best thing that one can do when one is going through experiences where one observes um, the tendency of another to I feel like I almost see a situation by which another person is um, like I almost see like a lot of like I feel like I see somebody who is in like an incredibly restrictive place, and the space by which um the space by which we like I keep wondering, like, the space by which we energetically do things is the space by which we're able to define and articulate how we're doing it better. And it's interesting because like I was trying to read for you, and the air dragon, right? The air dragon came out, and the air dragon was in its transverse, which is saying like, and I feel like in a way, like it's becoming an animal oracle reading, because the animal oracle is basically saying you have to breathe air. You have to breathe air into the situation, right? And breathing air into the situation is articulating to another that you are energetically aware of something, right? It's the modality or the experience by which we articulate to another and say, you know, I have to call something to your attention, right? And the modality by which we call something to another's attention tells us everything we need to know in relationality to whether they themselves are ready to a heal, right? Because when we call things to attention, the only sound you should hear is, I did not realize, right? I did not realize, and I can do better, right? Like the observation in terms of what you're energetically aware of. But if that's a situation by which they articulate to you and say, I don't know what you're talking about, right? Like in the modality by which they stress or they say in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? Like I was not like I don't like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like if they try to diminish that, or they effectively um, become reactive, right? Then that is all, right? Like that's all you need. That's all you need to know. Like that's all you need to see. So I want you to be conscientious about that, because I feel like it's hard. Because remember how I said that I feel like I see you in a situation that requires a lot of inner child healing. The thing about inner child healing is, and this is what we talk about with inner child healing, inner child, there is a misunderstanding with inner child healing that makes one feel like one has to put up with things. And often I actually need to point out inner child healing, and that's the hard part with inner child healing, is saying if something is not okay, then we don't need to put up with it. And it's okay to breathe life into it, right? It's okay to articulate and say, hey, right, I hold something to a higher standard. Hey, this is not okay with me. Hey, I would like I would like the space by which we recognize and identify a different way of doing things, because I keep on seeing This is what I meant in relationality to you going through an inner child healing moment. And the inner child healing moment doesn't mean the observation of a younger version of the self, or the space by which you can understand. And I feel like this is what's hard about it. Like, I literally see a situation by which you can empathize completely, right? Just because you can empathize upon it completely doesn't make it okay, right? That's what I mean. Like, that's what we mean by inner child healing, right? Inner child healing can sometimes feel very complicated because we can understand it to the letter, but we can also demand for it to be better, right? It's the modality or the opportunity by which we effectively arrive to things, but not just in the space by which we arrive to things, we thrive to them, which is the way by which we effectively identify and strive for something to be done in a way that allows for it to be energetically better. So I keep on getting, this is why one of your cards right now is the air dragon, which is not the space by which you say to yourself, oh, you know, maybe if I just don't say anything, it'll go away, right? But the space by which you articulate to another and say, like, I would like to make you aware of something. And I need to point this out. If that's a situation by which you say to somebody, like, I want to make you aware of it, and they articulate to you and say, right, if their answer is, I don't know what you're talking about, then it's okay for you to go, right? Like, that is exactly the sound by which it's okay for you to energetically depart from a situation, because the space by which, right, healthy spaces allow for perpetual reality checks, right? Healthy spaces allow for reality checks. And the thing about it, trauma exists in passive aggressiveness, right? Trauma exists in doing things that perpetually leave one energetically questioning oneself or questioning one's environment. So if you notice, right, if you're noticing a tendency by which you can clearly see that something is happening, and then in the modality by which you articulate it's occurring and another person says, I don't know what you're talking about, then that is you being able to assess that you are in a trauma environment, and it's okay to effectively identify, like, move into a space by which you feel more energetically secure and stable, right? Because this is the work that we do, right? This is the work that we do to care for each other, right? When we care for each other, we don't take things out on each other, which is not the modality by which we articulate our frustration through. I like to describe it as trauma will try to create acts of disservice, right? Like, that's what we almost see that often will identify the space of someone who's healing from a trauma environment. It creates a space by which another person does acts of disservice, which is the modality by which they effectively try to do something in a negligent way and then try to articulate over and over again that they didn't energetically recognize that they were doing it, right? And the way that we effectively articulate or amplify that is by perpetually, like, not getting to the space by which we're exhausted about it, but the space by which we energetically articulate, right? The space by which we articulate upon the progress that we make to energetically improve upon it, right? So that's a lot of the work that I see that you're doing right now. So it's okay. I keep on hearing, trust your assessment of the situation. And first and foremost, by giving breath, right? By giving breath to the patterns that you're energetically seeing, to see if another person is ready to heal, or if they're carrying that trauma situation with them everywhere that they go. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list for tomorrow, and you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Mm, yeah, I hope that helps, dear. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much. Mm-hmm. I understand. Excellent. All right, let's continue right now. So the next person we are reading for today is, we've got here, the next person we're reading for today is, we've got Nikki. Nikki, if you're here, can you respond in all caps and let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? And if anybody else would like to get on the list right now, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. The list is closed today, but you'll be the first person read for when we have our tomorrow, and you'll also have priority, which means you'll be read for before the daily collective begins. Ooh, we're doing a dream reading. Excellent. Is the dream, where have you posted the dream? And also, friends, we are at 34.6K likes. When we get to 50K, we'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen, and we will get to 50K in no time. All right, just bear with me a moment. Oh, I've got it here. Excellent. It's okay. It's all right if it's long. And just a reminder to those who are joining us across the other apps, you can also get on the list today via my tree that has links in it in my bio. We are reading here for highest priority messages from Spirit, Life Path, Mediumship, Dream Interpretation, Angelic Guidance, Animal Spirit Guide readings, Pet readings, Akashic, Mind, Body, Spirit, Aura, and Love. If you have information that you feel is necessary or relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only disco channel in the appropriate channels. All right, let's continue right now. I need a moment to read over this dream. So while we wait, I am going to, I'm going to give you guys a hearth warmer. So what is the question? Good hearth warmer right now. What is something that you're working on effectively? What is something that you used to consider a negative about yourself that you now recognize as a blessing? All right, I'll leave you to it. Oh wait, I'm reading this out loud, so hold on. That's something that you're going to hold on to for the next one. Yep. I like that one too, Per. Excellent. Okay. All right, before we get started with this, we're going to utilize the dream coconut. I've got the dream coconut here. All right, let's get to it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. All right, I'm going to read this one over. Possibly the weirdest dream I've ever had. Let's go. I had a dream I was in this tropical place, like a vacation spot with a beach, big cliffs, and an arid forest. At some point, it shifted, and I was basically a secret agent trying to figure out an alien invasion. I went into a house or lab and down into a basement where there were two scientists that had an alien locked in a box. I had clearly infiltrated to understand what was going on. And one of them warned me, don't even mess with that guy. They are a nasty MF. And pretty soon after, it started breaking out. It turned into this huge, round, glob-like monster with small flailing arms, and it made this loud, almost weaponized sound that caused people to get sick, like a rash spreading across their bodies. I don't think the scientists made it, and I ran and got out. For some reason, the sound didn't affect me the same way. Outside, it shifted, and I was on a cliffside with other people trying to hide or escape. There were massive alien robot creatures moving through the area that were kind of like transformers, scanning everything with lasers, and we had to freeze and stay completely silent so they wouldn't detect us. It felt like they were connected to the original alien creature or part of the same invasion. At the same time, there were still people just walking around like nothing was happening, mixed in with these small, fluffy, bouncy creatures that were weirdly following the transformer-like creatures around, almost like groupies. Everything else around felt bizarrely normal despite what was going on. People were speaking different languages. I didn't know anyone, and I kept thinking, how is no one reacting to this? I was moving through the area, trying to stay hidden, ducking behind trees and freezing whenever the aliens came near. I saw someone hiding up in a tree and realized that that might be safer, so I started searching for one I could climb. It took a while and I felt like I was running out of time, but eventually found a large banyan tree with a rope ladder. I tried to climb it, but it kept slipping and wouldn't hold, and then the person who had been up there jumped down, which made it feel like it wasn't actually safe. So I ran again and found a bathroom and considered hiding there, but it felt uncertain, like it either protect me or trap me. And that's where the dream ended. Okay. 4 cards, please. And 2 more. All right. So it's a shadow work dream, clearly. And the most important thing that we're going to recognize when we start the dream is seeing the fact that we find you beginning in a vacation spot. And we identify the fact that you've got a beach, cliffs, and a forest. And I want to point this out. Like, we can see that this is your ideal, like this is your safe space. And the reason we can see this is because, right, you've got like the description of the locationality is by its very nature surreal, specifically because you're identifying the fact that it has a bunch of facets that typically cannot coexist with one another, right? So we've got the vacation spots, we've got the beach. Okay, that's one. We've got big cliffs. Okay, so you got beaches and a big cliff and a forest, right? So you got beach, cliff, and forest. So this is a very interesting territory that we find you in. And you said at that point it shifted. And basically you were a secret agent trying to figure out an invasion. You said you went into your house or your lab and down into the basement where there were 2 scientists and they had an alien that was locked in a box. And you said you identified the fact that you had infiltrated, you had clearly tried to infiltrate to understand what was going on. And you said one of them warned you that not to mess with the thing that was in the box. And pretty soon after it started breaking out. Okay? Now, I want to point something out, and this is how we can tell that it's effectively a shadow work dream, right? Because the shadow work that you're navigating has to do with navigating others' alarm. And why do we say that it has to do with navigating others' alarm? Because you identified the fact that you said that there was a huge, round, glob-like monster with small flailing arms, and it made this loud, almost weaponized sound that caused people to get sick, or like a rash that was spreading across their bodies. And you said you didn't think the scientists made it, but you ran and got out, and for some reason, the sound didn't affect you the same. Okay? So this is the observation. Now, I just want to point something out here, and this is the important thing to navigate in the space of the dream. Okay? On the outside, this would look like a situation by which you have some kind of the question you need to ask yourself in the dream space is, why did this not affect you? But this is what I meant in terms of navigating others' alarm, right? Because if you put yourself in the energetic perspective of the object that was trapped within the box, right, then we see that this is something that is very different that's occurring, okay? Because the modality or the experience by which they put something in a box and trying to get out is the observation of something feeling like it's energetically trapped, right? And the modality by which it came out and started hurting everyone is the modality by which it's trying to understand what was the original source of threat, right? Was it the observation of the fact, and this is what you can effectively infer from the fact that it didn't affect you, right? The modality by which everyone that was hurt, right, everyone that was being affected or hurt was the energy that effectively put what you're seeing, right, in a place of distress, right? But you yourself were not harmed because you had come in there to observe, right? So it's the observation of understanding the quality of threatening that often comes from others' fear, that when they try to find something that's energetically fearful, right, they then try to energetically trap it, right? And then in the modality by which they trap it, then then the energy tries to react because the energy that's afraid of it has trapped it, and it's not in a space by which, that is the energy that's actually causing harm. And then the modality by which it gets out, and this is what's interesting about the dream space, the guides are showing you who was the source of harm. Because if the energy was harmful, it would have hurt you as well, right? The modality or the understanding that the qualifier of the fact that you weren't being energetically harmed because you were effectively observing what was occurring, right? It's often the observation, and you have to understand that the dream space often works through helping us see energetic lessons via the ability of navigating experiences that we ourselves have had. So this is something that you yourself may have experienced, right? The observation of effectively feeling constrained and then moving into a space of trying to protect yourself, and another person articulating the fact that you are the source of harm, but they, right, they were the energetic source of harm first. And the way you can see this is the fact that that was energy that was effectively only hurting the energy that was trying to energetically trap it. So it understands, the dream itself is showing you it's almost like working through the space of reactivity. And the modality by which, right, the modality by which you are identifying the tropical space, right, the space by which you saw a beautiful landscape, is often the modality of, right, the observation of the aspiration of what another person energetically seeks, right, the ideal. And what the guides were basically showing you is understanding, like, how one might feel if one went, right, from an open energetic environment into a space by which another person was trying to put you in an energetic box. And the space by which you notice that those individuals that you spoke to, they never described what that energy had done prior to being in it. They were just telling you, right? They didn't tell you, right? They didn't tell you what they did. They didn't tell you about any harm they caused. They just made their opinion clear, right? They made their opinion clear in relationality to what they thought of what it was inside that they were trying to contain, right? And then you describe the fact that outside it energetically shifted, and you said that you were on a cliffside with other people trying to escape and hide, right? And you said there were massive creatures that were moving through the area, kind of like transformers, scanning everything with lasers, and you had to freeze and stay completely silent so they wouldn't detect you. And it felt like they were connected to what you had seen in the previous dream moment, right? Because it is the observation, right? The dream is a shadow work dream because it's showing you what happens when we have the full, what happens when we have fear, right? When we have fear of things that we find are harmful just because they are foreign, right? The modality by which you noticed, right, that they did not articulate to you that energy that you had seen had done anything wrong, but the fact that they just said that they were nasty, right? Was the nastiness there, or was the nastiness something that they did not feel they saw was appealing, right? Because you described the fact that it looked harmful, but they never said to you, right? They never said to you that they were actually nasty. It's the recognition that the qualifier that they said, the reason that they put that energy, they tried to trap that energy, is because they didn't like looking at it. It was unappealing, that the nastiness wasn't about their demeanor, but the fact that they did not like that they themselves were nasty, and they were projecting, right? They were projecting the nastiness based upon the energetic appearance, right? Nastiness is expressed, right? Nastiness is expressed. It's not in the modality by which we allow our eyes to determine what is nasty, but you'll often see this with uncivilized minds, right? Uncivilized minds will see something that is energetically appealing and make a judgment call in relationality to what must exist within something. So you're seeing, right? Like this is literally the guide showing you the harm that prejudgment, that prejudice makes, right? Because this is a prejudice dream, and this is potentially in the space by which we only dream about things that we've experienced. So when another person makes a judgment call based upon our energetic appearance and then identifies the nastiness, but it's not the nastiness that resides within, but the nastiness that they energetically project upon us, right? The modality by which others, then that energy then obviously has a reason to be upset, because they are feeling energetically trapped within the prejudice of another. And then when another person becomes reactive upon that, right, others then articulate the fact, they go, aha, look, that was what they were like, failing to recognize that they are now responding to the harm that they themselves energetically received, right? And this is why we then see that. What are you seeing that's happening? You're seeing the escalation, right? The escalation that occurs in the modality. But now, and now what's interesting about this dream is the guides are showing you, right? The guides are now showing you the energetic overcorrection point, right? Which is the difference between defending the self, right? The space by which, right? And in the first modality, like I want to point this out, in the first experience that you see, the guides are showing you that to a certain extent, the response of that was reasonable, right? Because, and you can see this, you see how reasonable and rational that response was, because the response was everybody who was trying to harm it, they were harming it in kind in order to protect itself, but they did not harm you because you are not trying to harm them. So you were seeing the fact that they were utilizing sound judgment, right? There's the sound judgment in terms of understanding that they were bringing the level of necessary protectiveness to a situation to assess the threat that was happening upon them, versus the overcorrection that you then see in the next part of the dream, where another person, right, moves into the space by which they're effectively leveling things because of the experience of harm. So you're seeing the cycle of prejudice, right? You're seeing how the prejudice can often create more prejudice in the overcorrection of what is necessary in order to protect the self. So that is what you're effectively identifying in terms of the fact that in that other part, and the way you can see that is because in the next part, you weren't safe, right? That as someone who is energetically observing, you then recognize that you yourself weren't safe as well, because you said people were walking around. And this is interesting too, because then we get to the next part of the dream, because the guides are effectively now showing you another aspect at the same time, right? At the same exact time that that was occurring. You said that there were people that were just walking around like nothing was happening, and mixed in with these fluffy, bouncy creatures that were weirdly following the transformer-like aliens, almost like groupies, okay? And everything else around felt bizarrely normal despite what was going on. You said there were people speaking in different languages, and I didn't know anyone, and I kept thinking, how is nobody reacting to this, right? And that is the modality by which you're recognizing the energetic complicity that happens when energy has to endure a trauma situation too long, right? Which is the modality by which, right, when another person has experienced so much trauma, and this is often what is necessary to define within ourselves, the space by which another person says, oh, it's okay, right? It's an energetic illusion anyway, right? That would basically be the modality by which another person moves through with those fluffy, bouncy creatures, because that is the space of like getting into a delusional space by which like there is specific trauma occurring. And one is often the space that says, like, as long as it's not happening to me, then it's perfectly fine. Like, it's not actually happening, because it's the space by which they're effectively just, right, what did you see that's happening? That was the energy that was falling in line behind the energy of protectiveness, right? So that is often, that's why you identified it as groupies, right? Because energy that is afraid, right? Energy that is afraid will often fall in line behind energy that decimates, because they don't care about what's happening. They just want to be in the shadow of the energy that's destroying things. So this is also the modality by which you said everybody felt normal despite what was going on, because, right, they weren't allowing themselves to articulate upon the fact that there was something wrong in the first place. They were just doing what was necessary, right? Just thinking about the self, right? Just moving in energetic accordance to what makes things as easy for them as possible, which is why you saw them as fluffy, right? Because they never stand for anything, right? They never articulate anything. They're spineless, right? You saw the spineless creatures that were hiding in the shadow of the oppressive force, that effectively act like everything's fine, and it's crazy because it's not. But that's why it's crazy, because they're energetically spineless, and it's a modality by which they don't need to have a spine, because they're constantly just aligning into the modality of what is convenient instead of what is energetically necessary. And you said, meanwhile, you said you were moving through the area trying to stay hidden, ducking and hiding behind trees and freezing whenever you saw something. And then you said you saw someone hiding behind a tree and realized that might be safer, so you started searching for one to climb. And you identified the fact that you said while you were doing so, you found a banyan tree with a rope ladder. Now, it's very interesting that you say a banyan tree, because banyan trees are very, very stable. They are massive. They are energetically ancestral. And you said you tried to climb it, but you kept slipping, and it wouldn't hold. And then the person who had been up there jumped down, which made it feel like it wasn't actually safe. Now, this is interesting too, because I need to articulate the fact, and this is also the modality by which, and I want to kind of stress this, the modality by which you identified, and I want to keep on, like, the one thing that's interesting about the guides bringing these things forward to you is the space by which you said, do you see your own tendency of doing it too, right? That person jumped down, could have been a perfectly safe space to hide, but you saw another person's, right? You saw another person's reactivity, and you made an assessment. So these are the guides that are also like the wise guide that's showing you and saying, listen, it's okay to have that, right? It's okay to have that because it's necessary, but it's the ability of being able to identify and recognize the proportionality that we energetically bring to it. You then said you ran again and you found a bathroom and considered hiding there, but it felt uncertain, like it could either protect you or trap you, and that's where the dream ended, right? Because often what we potentially see, and this is where we're getting into the fact that this is effectively a shadow work dream, because everything we experience in dreams we ourselves have experienced. So the modality by which you recognize, and this is the important thing about it, there's energy out in this world that will harm others just because they have nothing in their own soul that allows one to feel energetically stable, right? The modality by which we often recognize the fact that when energy feels vacant, then it feels satisfactory to harm another, right? Like that is always the sign of someone who's strayed so far down their path in the space by which, right, seeing others suffer gives them satisfaction. So the modality by which you said that it led you to a bathroom is working through the intimacy wounds, right? It starts like the space by which you're going through all of the understanding of the way energy moves. It's having an impact on you intimately, because space by which you said you felt uncertain, like it could either protect you or trap you, is the modality of understanding that ultimately we don't know the level of healing that we find each other in, right? The only way we know how far we've healed is built upon the context of time, right? And the modality by which we effectively work to heal requires us to be vulnerable, because our vulnerability, right? Much like you said, like the first, I want to remind you back to where you were at the beginning of the dream. You went somewhere to understand something deeper. And the modality by which you went there was the space by which you effectively identified and assessed what was going on. So the question I would ask you in the space of the dream is, what brought you to the point that you felt that you had to flee, right? What was the modality that occurred that you were seeing that created the difference between being able to effectively observe versus feeling the space of going somewhere? Because that, like I keep on seeing, like in this dream space, that is the shadow work portion where the guides are saying, like, making sure that you're clear on that is how you yourself are able to define your own energetic standards in terms of what feels stable and supportive versus energy that often creates a space of crossing lines with you, right? And that would be, right, and you even defined it here, the space by which another person works into, right? There's nothing in this dream that's okay, but the modality of being able to bring an appropriate level of energetic response to things, right, allows the ability of being able to energetically move through things confidently. And I feel like even in the space by which you were having the dream and you were feeling like that perpetual state of anxiety, that in itself is the guides. Like often with these shadow work dreams, they bring them forward so that we can effectively understand what we're still working upon, right? Where we can get stronger. So I feel like that, and that's what's important, especially with that banyan tree, because it's interesting, right? A banyan tree is a very safe place to be. It's something that's very secure to the ground. But the modality by which, right, and I just keep on feeling in the dream space, I keep on turning my attention back to the banyan tree. Just because someone jumped out of it, right? Just because all of that was happening and one person jumped out of it, right? I feel like that in itself is helping you kind of work through, like finding your own sense of energetic confidence, right? Like that's what the interesting part is. It's the space by which, right? It's the space by which you're allowing the understanding, right? Remember how everything started, right? Remember how everything started with an assessment rather than an understanding. So this is the guides kind of showing you in the dream space, right? They're helping you build empathy as to how that began in the first place, right? We have to recognize that quality is within all of us to be reactive, right? Because the quality is one that when we're like in the beginning of things, we need to be responsive or reactive, because sometimes the decisions we make in an instant can build into, right, can build into our security. But as we grow, right, we actually have to learn to curb our instincts. And that in itself is what the dream is trying to show you, right? They're showing you all the ways of being able to attenuate to your instinct, to understand what is necessary, when is necessary, particularly as it relates to your intimate relationships. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. We've got 2 more readings today before we move into 1-card readings for subscribers. So if you would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list for tomorrow and you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have first priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Hi there, Jennifer. To get a reading, the list is closed today, but we are going to be doing 1-card readings for super fans once we complete the next 2 readings. So if you'd like to become a super fan, you can do so, or you can get on the list for tomorrow. We don't make anyone do anything here, Ari. Everybody maintains their autonomy. So I'm happy to read for you in terms of what's occurring or understand what's happening between you and them energetically. But there's no space by making somebody do something that's ever going to result in something positive as it relates to relationship. All right. Thank you as well, Paul. Thank you, Joshua, for the follow. Happy Friday, Logan. How you doing today, dear? I'm curious what the interpretation of this madness will be. Oh, Per, you're funny. Absolutely. Yep. And Dr. LD, thank you for the follow. Excellent. Also, where's the coconut? And thank you for reposting, Vince. You're so welcome, Julia. It's okay that it was long. It needed to be long. Oh, happens to the best of us, Nicole. Thank you as well, Mandy. And thank you as well. I'm curious. Yep. Pretty wild stuff. No, I can see it. It's a heavy shadow work dream. But it's a shadow work dream related to reactivity. Joshua, thank you for the follow. Right. What did it actually do? Nope. Or was it just the appearance? Not an uncivilized mind. How you doing today, Adam? Good to see you. Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot lately. Yeah, I think I know what this is about. I feel like it's definitely about prejudice. Oh my God, I knew what it was about. I like the fact that you said that and I didn't see it. And then you wrote, oh my God, I totally knew what this was about. Yeah, falling in line for safety. It reminded me of little like fish that follow predators. Yeah, but the thing is they were fuzzy because they were spineless, right? Yeah, or staying around the shark because it's protective. Thank you as well, Lexi. And Alex, thank you for the follow. Yeah, great world we live in. We're doing our best, Per. Hi there, Davies. Life been tough lately. Oh, guys, please remember not to message people promising strange things. Yeah, I just kind of kept my mouth shut, but I kind of want to speak out. I understand. Hi there, Jennifer. As I mentioned, the list is closed today, but you can get on tomorrow, or you can become a super fan. You'll have a 1-card. I'm happy to read for you, Ari, if you'd like to get on the list. List is open, but please keep in mind, nothing I do in relationality to reading is going to make anyone do anything. We're here to understand what's occurring, not change what is like, but not change it. We see what we need to do to actively work on ourselves, not the space by which we're trying to make another person do something that they don't desire to do. Yeah, very interesting. I did not think about it that way, but it was really bothering me, so I'm not surprised. I guess that came through like that. Thank you for the help, Per. Absolutely. All right, and Kay, thank you for the follow. Next person we're reading for today is Bridget. Bridget, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else, once again, the list is closed today, but You can get on the list for tomorrow, and you'll be the first, you'll have priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective, as well as we're at 48.9K over on the clock app. When we get to 50K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're topping that screen, and we'll get to 50K in no time. It's in the disco. I got you, dear. And for anybody waiting for one cards, we've got 2 more reads coming up before we get started on the one cards. Okay. Gotcha, dear. Outside T, what is the financial and life stability energy of my divine counterpart, and how does it align with what I'm currently building? What an incredible question. All right. And then before we get started, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal oracle cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the frog. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is all pentacle energy. It's all pentacle energy. So it says to me, I feel like I'm seeing something here where there's a tremendous amount of stability. There's a tremendous amount of stability here. And the funny part about it, like the one thing I want to describe is the only thing I see that is difficult, that's difficult in relationality to this is I see somebody that has some kind of energetic finances, but they're in the middle of trying to create something. And so I feel like the hard part about it is that they're going to be in a weird point, is what I'm seeing. Specifically based upon what we spoke about in relationality, the fact that they're going through an energetic transition, right? And everything I keep on seeing about that transition is it feels like someone trying to start something. And I keep on, and it's interesting too, because I feel like I keep on hearing like the funny thing about it, I don't know why I keep on hearing this, the like one of your focus words is going to be seed money, is what I keep on getting, which is I keep on seeing someone who's worked very carefully to energetically separate. Like I see somebody who's working very carefully to separate what they actually need versus like what is effectively for what it is that they're trying to start. So I think it's actually interesting because I almost see somebody that you're going to meet that is very austere. Like there's a lot of austerity there. Like I see somebody that says they really don't need much. And the modality by which they don't need much, I just keep on seeing that it's like, it's saying to me, I keep on getting it. It's like a bike. It's like a bike that's like trying to turn its wheels in the mud is what I'm getting, which is like, I feel like you're going to see a lot of conversations with them talking about how they're being very scrupulous, but it's like, I keep wondering the reason that they're being scrupulous, even though they have what I would identify as a large amount in reserve to some extent, is because they know how much it's going to take to effectively get something off the ground, is what I keep on seeing. And so I literally see somebody who frames a lot of their choices in relationality to what they know, like what they know they need in order to start something. And so I feel like it's gonna be a little bit odd because I almost see a situation by which somebody seems like they have a lot of, you're gonna understand it though. I feel like something that you do is gonna make you understand it, that they say, like I almost see them saying that they have money, but they're penniless. And the reason that they're effectively articulating the fact that they have money, but they're penniless, is because I see them being like, no, that's not my money, right? Like that's the money, that they're utilizing to try to build something, is what I keep on seeing. And I keep on getting, they're really good. They're really good at that segmentation, is what I keep on seeing. I feel like that might be, the hardest thing, is what I keep on seeing, because a lot of what I'm identifying there, feels, how do I describe it? It feels very much, it's almost like, I almost feel like I see somebody apologizing, you know? Like I see somebody apologizing a lot, but I keep on seeing the reason that they're energetically apologizing is because I can see them articulating the fact that they're always working. Like this is a type of energy that always, they need to feel busy, they need to feel like they're doing something. So I keep on seeing, even in the context by which they're energetically trying to work through something, I feel like there's something there that's difficult, specifically because I can almost hear the energy that's apologetic, because they keep on saying like I keep on hearing somebody say like, I don't want you to think, I keep on hearing somebody say like, I don't want you to think I'm cheap, is what I keep on hearing. But it's like almost them saying like, I keep on hearing them say, I'm usually not this cheap, is what I keep on hearing them say, which is somebody saying like, the reason they're saying is, I'm usually not this cheap, is them basically trying to articulate the fact that they're used to, right? And I need to point this out, like the fact that they hold themselves like frustrated about it, because specifically they identify and recognize that they actually, I keep wondering, they like living more comfortably. So I feel like they're trying to get back to that, is what I keep on seeing. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, I feel like that's the hard, I feel like there might be a little bit of a, I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a tease moment between you both, is what I keep on seeing. Because I feel like I almost feel like there's a situation or circumstance where, you know, I feel like you're for a certain extent, like you're going to be like stable, but I feel like this is, I keep on stable, but you understand, is what I keep on seeing, right? Like there's something about the way this person, I feel like there's something about the way this person talks about their finances that you get it, is what I keep on getting. Like you're gonna literally say to them, like, you don't have to explain it to me. I see you saying like, I work with people in your position all the time, is what I keep on seeing. Because there's some kind of startup energy around them. And I keep on getting you understanding that, I keep wondering, startup needs seed, right? Which is the space by which you say like, it's not that you, like, it's like you have to, the money's not there because it's not for what, like the money is, like I keep wondering, the money is, like the money is for something. And so I feel like I see you recognizing and respecting someone, because it's, I keep wondering, it's not what they have, but the way that they think about money that makes you realize that they're going to have it again, is what I keep on seeing. Is what I feel like, it's like, I keep on hearing like something about you. Like I feel like it's going to like a light switch is going to be on, because you're going to be like, oh no. Like the way you talk about it, I understand that you are, like they have that that attention or that tendency in terms of being able to understand like what is energetically needed or how to effectively get there. And I think in a way, I actually feel like there's something about that where there might be something where you guys effectively collaborate on something here, is what I'm seeing. You know, there's some type of energetic growth point. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. The list is closed. I am running a little bit tight on time. I wanted to ask if you would be comfortable if we moved your reading to first thing tomorrow and I give you priority before we start the daily collective. Please let me know. Okay. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm just going to read over the comments that came through as I was reading. I would never pull a blank one on you. I wouldn't do that. Absolutely. And thank you, Kay, for the follow. It's hard to see people that just fall. Yeah, I see that too, dear. And thank you, Nikki, for allowing me to read for that dream. Yeah, that's not even funny. It's ridiculous, the universe's jokes. That can be in my soft. I feel like the thing is, I feel like you will be in your soft girl era at some point, but not at the beginning, is what I keep on seeing. Because I feel like they're trying to get into their soft period again as well. Yeah. That's me. I don't need money, just stability. Exactly. They have a dream. I literally see them. Like, the funny part about it is I see them, like, I literally see somebody that had convinced themselves that they were going to retire, and now they've changed their mind. They're like, oh no, that's what I need it for, is what I keep on seeing. Yeah. Sending you support as well, Per. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would love to be able to lean on someone for the first time if I need to. I feel like it's interesting because I feel like, in a way, I feel like that relationship, you're going to be unified in relationality to, I keep on hearing it's not going to be leaning, but feeling like you have mutual support. All right, let's continue right now. We are going to get started on one card readings for super fans and subscribers. So if you are a paid member over on the place where we keep the videos, or if you are a super fan over on the Clock app, you can put your question in now. I'll be happy to draw a card for you. For those who are joining us on the place where we keep the photos, I'd love to be able to offer this as well. I need some follows there. So again, if you guys could take a moment and go ahead and give me a follow on the place where we keep the photos. Just comment followed when you do so, and I'll be happy to draw an affirmation card for you. I mean, not draw an affirmation card, but read you an affirmation from a guidebook for the advanced soul. And if you're already following me there, if you share the live with 3 individuals and comment shared, I'll also be happy to read an affirmation for you as well. Excellent. My dream is not to be the man. I don't think you're going to be. I see somebody, like, I feel like I see you helping someone get back to where they used to be. Vicky, these are one card readings for super fans. So if you'd like to become a super fan, I'm happy to draw a card for you. Laurel, highest priority, please. I feel like this is you, like, doing something nice for yourself is what I keep on getting. Bottom of the deck, especially with this 9 of Wands and its reversal. I feel like I see you working into the context of, like, planning or brainstorming, or giving yourself some space to create. Yeah, you got to carve out some creativity space. Nobody else is going to carve it out for you but you. Make sure that you're doing that. Absolutely. And Vic, thank you so much for the follow. Highest priority for Bridget, please. We've got the 4 of Cups and it's upright. So I feel like I'm seeing something there in relationality to, I feel like there's something about working through the observation of being able to, like, try to come up with a better idea on something. Like, talk through, like, it's saying, like, talk through a process or get some advice from someone, particularly as it relates. Like, I feel like I see you almost helping another person, like, help. If you're having a hard time moving away from something, give somebody a context of your vision, or, like, what that ideal would be is what I'm getting. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, the wolf energy, right? The gift of preparation. is knowing what we can expect from one another is what I keep on seeing. It's giving me a little bit of like help me help you by articulating like what's going on in your headspace, you know? Absolutely. Gabrielle, one card, highest priority, please. Woo! Hold on a moment. Got two cards here. We got the Queen of Pentacles with the World card. So I feel like there's something important there in recognizing and understanding. I feel like there's some kind of like, I feel like I see you getting stable on something, but like expanding in some way or thinking in some way that allows some kind of like expansiveness as a possibility. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, and especially like this, I feel like the Seven of Swords in its reversal, you know, like the hard part about it is like, I feel like often when I, like the context of being able to make sure that we are unified in our manifestation goal is how we get everything done. If you're trying to have a conversation with someone about the future and they're articulating that you're rushing them, then they don't, then let that is your confirmation that they don't have the same manifestation goal as you. Because the space by which we can talk about, like, we're never rushed about talking through the future. The only time we're rushed about talking through the future is if we found our ideal, right? And again, animal spirit guide, yeah, the seal, right? If it isn't an ideal time to talk about something, then that it's clarified by a date, which says it's not ideal now, but this is when I'll be able to have that conversation, right? Not being in some kind of perpetual waiting state as it relates to relationship. Absolutely. One card for, oh, I got you, pet reading for Purr. The dream refers back to something I was trying to, there's something I communicated to you in the mentorship. Right? There's another level to the dream, which is articulating upon. Yeah, it's articulating upon, I feel like there's a guide around you that's trying to punctuate the point in relationality to aspiring to work with you in some way, in relationality to something here. Yeah, it's giving confirmation in terms, like, it feels like, I feel like the dream itself was persisting confirmation on something that you keep accidentally exploring. Sometimes we accidentally activate gifts while we're dreaming. And so I feel like this is what's potentially occurring there that was also happening in that dream space. You're so welcome, Laurel. Vic, these are one card readings for super fans. So if you become a super fan, I'm happy to draw a card for you. Minnie, one card on the weekend, please. Feels like rest and relaxation. Make sure that you're taking some time for yourself. Yeah, like it's saying, like, I feel like this is you carving out some time to just be able to do something from a leisure perspective, right? I keep on hearing you can get a lot of work done when you're being leisurely, because sometimes, like, we clear blockages when we're in a leisure state. So don't think harder, think softer about something. Thank you for the help, Bridget. I got you. It's my recognize what obstacles, like I keep on hearing, don't get upset about an obstacle. Sometimes problems are blessings in disguise. I keep on saying sometimes problems are blessing in disguise, because yeah, especially with the Raven, right? I keep on hearing you can't be responsible. You can't be responsible for another person's decisions, right? You're not responsible for another person's decisions. They are. Don't overly internalize why someone's being that way. Just accept that they are, you know? Yeah, as one card, please, on why I've been dreaming a lot. Oh, past partners. I mean, you're dreaming a lot because, I mean, we've got Saturn and Neptune right now in Aries, is often articulating upon the difference between what another person was not willing to work upon. You know, like that's often what we see with Saturn and Neptune. You can't force someone to work on something. And sometimes, like, the space by which another person doesn't feel inclined to work on something about themselves is how we lose someone. Yeah, especially with this Nine of Cups and its reversal. Like the Nine of Cups and its reversal articulate upon, they articulate upon our own energetic frustration. But I keep on getting, especially with this animal spirit guide with the ram, right? I feel like there's some I feel like there's a quality of energy that was trying to be very forceful in terms of what they aspired to have with you. And that's the thing again, energy that's forceful about what they want to have with us loses the ability to have everything with us, right? Because it's the space by which they were so singularly focused on their own manifestation goals. They didn't realize, right? They didn't realize that they weren't trying to build collaboratively, they were trying to build determinatively. So I feel like that's a unifying factor in both of those energies that I'm seeing, or why they're effectively reappearing, right? Because it's the modality by which I feel like they're potentially understanding how they stood in their own way. Yeah. How you doing today, Estevan? Good to see you, dear. One card from Spirit for Denise, please. We've got the Five of Swords in its reversal. So the Five of Swords in its reversal, I feel like there's something about the past. I keep on hearing the guides aren't bringing up the past to show you that you did something wrong, but to effectively help you understand what you could be perfecting more in the present. Yeah, especially with the Blackbird energy, right? Make sure that you're not harboring the past, but being able to look at the past with the sense of with the sense of blessing it, like looking at a situation and saying, how can I bless it further, is what I keep on seeing. Yeah, a recap I was seeing there. You had some beautiful cards coming up, Gabrielle, but it was basically the World card, as well as the World card, as well as the what's that other card that was next to it? The card that was next to it was it the Nine of Pentacles? You can find it over in the place where we keep the videos, but it was basically saying think larger than the problem, right? And making sure that another person shares your manifestation goal, right? If you guys a healthy the space by which another person articulates that they don't feel inclined to talk about the future is often indicative of the fact that they have exactly they are living their manifestation goal, right? Let that be your confirmation. You're welcome, dear. One card on love for Estevan, please. You're welcome. I feel like this is you making plans or thinking more broadly about something. Yeah, don't think small at this time. You know, it's saying big picture energy. Yeah, especially with the wolf. I feel like it's almost like you having to step up in a way. I always like to point out the energy that has to step up never wants to. That's why you have to step up. Is what I keep on getting. But I feel like that's you allowing yourself to be representative of something or advocating for something in a way because you're so closely connected to it. One card for Moon, please. Oh my gosh. Don't panic. I keep on saying take a step-by-step approach to something. Especially with the Nine of Cups in its reversal. I feel like I keep on hearing taking a step-by-step approach to things to be able to effectively I keep on hearing let the process do its work in terms of navigating through. This is the hard part is what I keep on seeing. So just not allowing panic to override, but just allowing the space of understanding that this will pass, right? So just keep on focusing on the future where this is behind you, and do the things necessary that you need to get there. And we got to 50K, hooray! Excellent. You're welcome, Yaz. One card for Hannah, highest priority, please. Apologies can be taken from a distance. Right? I keep on hearing apologies don't come with conditions. So the modality by which a person says, I'll apologize if, it's not an apology. If there's an if at the end of the apology, that's not an apology. That's not an apology. That's a bargain. That's a bargain. Is what I keep on hearing. Yeah, the horse energy, right? Like, again, like apology not accepted because it's not an apology. Like if someone says, I'll apologize if, you'd be like, apology not accepted because that's not an apology. That's you trying to, like, that's somebody trying to barter. We don't barter with our apologies is what I keep on hearing. You're welcome, Gabrielle. You're welcome, Esteban. Nicole, highest priority, please. Don't let somebody trigger you. Recognize when they are. Document it. Take note of it, right? Yeah, especially with the star card. When another person's trying to, trigger you, just articulate upon what's occurred, right? So let me make sure I understand, right? Look for the logic. Animal spirit guide, yeah, especially with the stag energy. So allowing the context of being able to work through something in a way that helps you see something with more clarity. Thank you, dear. All right, my friends, we've reached the conclusion of our one cards right now, so I'm going to give the 50K away, and then that will be available tomorrow. If you want to get on the list tomorrow, you'll be the second person read for. I'm currently thinking of a number between 1 and 37 right now. First person I see that posts the number will get the reading. First person I see, not the first person that posts it. Sometimes I see things in a different order than you guys post them. Congratulations, Per, you got it. All right, that will be available to you starting tomorrow. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. We'll be back on tomorrow at our standard time, 7:15 a.m. PST, 10:15 a.m. Eastern. If you would like to get on the list today, you'll have priority tomorrow, which means you'll be right before we start the Daily Collective. Also, if you became a super fan today, welcome. I'd encourage you to give me a message, drop me a line, and send me a disco gift. I will send you an invite to the disco. Introduce yourself to the collective. In the perks section, you'll find a coupon code to our tarot class subscription program. Our next class is going to be on Friday, August 17th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the court cards and the wand suit. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. I've got you, Nikki, one card, highest priority, please. I feel like it's referring back to a lot of the energy that we were seeing in that shadow work dream, right? Allow your, like, build into the point. Like, confidence is what we do in the face of our fear, which doesn't mean that we throw our fear out the window, but we navigate things with a proportionality of the fear that we're working to correct for. Bottom of the deck on this, like especially with the Ace of Swords, right? Like, the guides are there to support you through your own energetic decisions, and I feel like they were helping you see. Like, it was a beautiful reading that we saw with that dream because they were showing you all the different ways energy moves to help you build into a stability with your own energetic choices. Animal spirit guide with the blackbird, right? All, like, it's not our job to change everything, but we do the things we can in the best way that we're able. Thank you so much, dear. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here today and receiving these messages. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. And the biggest thank you to my mods. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. And we'll do this again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.